do a little. We're live, buddy. Did you
What's
play the
going on,
intro
everybody?
video? This is the
to
bare
another edition.
minimum.
Welcome. Yeah, I was going to say, welcome to another edition in its most definitive term, guys, to the bare minimum. My name is Brandon, joined by Dustin. How you feeling, Dustin?
I'm good. How about you? We're gonna get into a lot of good stuff tonight. Really focus on the defense and where we think the Bears should be looking in this draft in terms of improving their team. Do you want to play the intro video, or you want to just go without it?
Yeah. No, we're going to talk a little about Caleb Williams, guys, and obviously,
Yeah.
which it says on the thumbnail, which side of the Bears ball is better to come in this coming season. All that after this. All right, Dustin, let's go ahead and start with the Bears news, man. Or just
Real quick, I
I
want to
guess-
start by saying this, Brandon. I want to start by saying this for
Let's
anybody
get
watching.
let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this mock draft real quick.
Yeah, that makes sense. For any, probably should have done that before we started the show. For anybody, well, this feeds right into my point. Brandon earlier today texted me, I'm not going to be able to do any homework for this show. I got a lot of shit going on. And my response was, when the fuck do we ever do homework for this show? It's called the bare minimum. So like, if you've watched it already, you kind of know we just riff and we go wherever direction we want to go, really. There's not a lot of preparation in this. And if you enjoy that, that's why you keep coming back. And if you're new, I just want to give you kind of an introduction. It's called the bare minimum for a reason. We ain't doing homework, really, per se.
Yeah, and in completely unbiased terms, that's the beauty of this show.
Yeah, but it's cool, man. We're here. We're here to have fun. Ant Mass is already with us here. Bear
What's
down,
up, Ant Mass?
4 stars, FGB. Guys, keep the comments coming. We'd love to get y'all involved in the conversation tonight. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Share it with a friend. Thanks for joining us so late. Look forward to seeing everybody and talking with everybody tonight.
Yes, indeed, man. And I just want to say, guys, sorry for the backdrop. I am currently in a hotel room, but I wouldn't let it slide. I was still going to do the bare minimum, no matter where I was in the country.
Scott Angel, what up? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we hate homework on this fucking show. There ain't no homework.
What's up, Scott? All right, Dustin. So let's dive right into the Bears news, or the NFL news, I should say. Go ahead and lead us off there.
What am I leading us off with? NFL news? What's the NFL news?
Well, just news in general, man. The news.
I thought you were leading this.
Be my anchor.
I mean, well then I'll just take over from here. What up, Bruce? Thanks for joining us. I mean,
Bruce
the
is
one
back.
Amphioris is in the building as well. Listen, the one thing that came out yesterday that I thought was kind of interesting, and it could mean nothing. TJ Watt posted on his Instagram, I believe, just him throwing up the peace sign. Pretty cryptic post, led people to start wondering what's going on with this. Is this guy talking about leaving Pittsburgh? You know, all the rumors, all the speculation. A lot of people start putting together trade packages. Went through this with Myles Garrett. Went through this with Trey Hendrickson. It was a lot for nothing. I'd like to see some smoke before I start saying there's some real smoke, before I start saying there's fire. But TJ Watt is a guy, again, if I'm the Bears, just speculating, I'm kicking the tires on that for sure. 100%. And you could do something with the draft day, because the Steelers do want to move up in this draft, I believe. And then I saw another thing come out that said that nobody's really interested in trading up in this draft. There's nobody looking for it. The lack of blue chip talent in this draft is really pushing back on that whole trading up to try to get a guy thing. People are cool with staying put and just taking who comes to them, because you're going to find a lot of starters deep into this draft. So a couple of nuggets that came out that I saw today that I thought were
real quick on that Watt thing. I mean, the thing that strikes me as odd about that is, not only did this guy get paid, but he's on a team that consistently makes the postseason, coached by one of the best in the league. So it's a bit of a kind of a curveball, man. If he is indeed seeking to get out of Pittsburgh, that would surprise me more than Hendrickson and Myles Garrett, you know.
Yeah, no, he seems to fit pretty perfectly there. I mean, the relationship with him and Tomlin seems good. I don't know, man. It could be nothing. But I guess here's the question, because like I just said, teams aren't really looking to trade up. because there's just not that a level of blue chip talent that people want to move up for, and there's not that quarterback that people want to move up for. Really, that's what it comes down to. But and they're also looking at the second round is very similar to the late first round, the beginning of the second round. Like those players are all going to be ranked very closely together. It comes down to preference. So in that vein, Brandon, like if you had the chance at TJ Watt, would you give up 2 picks, your 2 second round picks to get TJ Watt if you're the Chicago Bears? And if you're the Steelers, would you accept that? You're getting 2 starters with those picks, most likely. You can replace him pretty quickly. That's not a bad package from my perspective. You gave up 39 and 41 for TJ Watt on draft day.
You would think that Pittsburgh would also maybe be okay, Dustin, with the pick swap as well as getting the second round pick. I mean, if they were to get the 10th overall pick for their 21st overall pick and gain a second rounder, I
That would
think
be
that'd be
worth it.
much more beneficial to the Steelers, and I would do that in a heartbeat if because you like, the only way to quantify this, we've done this 100 times on the show, is there a TJ Watt at 21? Or I mean, even let's say at 10, is there a
At
TJ
10?
Watt at
I
10?
don't think so.
No. I mean, this guy is, I think did he tie the record for sacks in a season? He got like
Well, he
18
got
and
very
a half
close.
sacks.
He got
Yeah.
the record is
And I think
22 and a half or by
and I think he
Strahan.
missed the last game of the year that he was projected to break the record.
I think he hit 22. I think he was
Yeah,
like
I think
right there.
yeah. So no, I would definitely
He's a stud.
humor this for sure. I would indeed. And if and I would imagine if the rumor is true, let's say that he is on the block. Ryan Poles is not an idiot, man. He's gonna he knows this is a position he could get better at. He's gonna call the Steelers up, you know.
I'd be trying not to give up my 10 if I were the Bears, to be honest. But if you can still keep a first rounder, it's something worth thinking about. I mean, obviously, you're not getting a TJ Watt at any point in this draft. I don't think Abdul Carter is TJ Watt, and he's the best defensive end in this draft by all accounts. I don't know if I'm giving up what I would give up to get TJ Watt to get Abdul Carter. I don't think I would do that. But TJ Watt is someone that you would look into. Another thing that I saw was Shador Sanders had an interview, and I've been thinking about these quarterbacks, and I know you have too. You've been wanting to talk about them, so we want to talk about them tonight, the quarterbacks in this draft, because they're kind of, again, like I said, there's not that top guy that everybody wants to get in this draft, so they're kind of an afterthought of this draft to an extent. I mean, there's a good middle class of quarterbacks this year in the draft, which we haven't really had in a while, but Shador Sanders he rubbed people the wrong way in his interviews. That's been reported since March. I mean, his confidence, his arrogance, and he called it his honesty. And he did an interview after he interviewed with the Steelers today, I believe, and just kind of said, I'm going to be honest. Some teams are going to like it. Some teams aren't. At least they'll know where I stand, and I know where they stand. So, I mean, I personally like that approach. I personally like Shador Sanders. Do you think his confidence and his arrogance is a problem for him going into the NFL? Because I want that in my quarterback.
Because I'm going to tell you, it reminds me of somebody.
Caleb?
No, his father, who was a phenomenal player in all aspects. I mean, by every measure. So if Shador Sanders can go out there and put whatever it is he has to say on the field, no, I have no issue at all. But yeah, it does remain. I mean, you bring up a good point there too. It reminds me of Caleb Williams a little bit, and a lot of people call them. I mean, we heard everything, right? How many?
Don't bring that Hollywood shit to Chicago,
right? Even by his own potential teammates. But it kind of looks to me, and I would imagine you agree after his rookie season, he kind of is what he said he was going to be, right? So. If Shador Sanders is just going to be Shador Sanders, no matter who's in front of him, I respect that, to be honest.
I 100% do. And if we all could put ourselves, and like you just said, if we all could put ourselves in Shador Sanders' shoes, you grew up in a house where Deion Sanders was your dad. Like, you're going to be confident. You're going to be cocky, borderline.
Yeah, those guys.
But I want that in my quarterback
for breakfast every day.
Yes, 100%. So that's what you're getting if you're taking him. Some coaches aren't going to want to deal with it. Some are. You do wonder if that overconfidence or cockiness makes you harder to coach, to notice your flaws, to notice what you need to improve on. That's always the concern, and I understand that to an extent. But I also want my quarterback, if he's going to be my starting quarterback, I want him to be cocky and have that confidence. And I personally think Shador Sanders is the best quarterback in this draft. I think he's a very accurate quarterback. And I think he's going to make a team look good that drafts him.
I'll say this too. If I'm looking at in both ends of the spectrum here. If I have a quarterback who comes in and sits down in front of me and comes off as, I'll say the word cocky, and then I have a guy who comes in and comes off as submissive, or like he has very little confidence in himself, I'm going with the cocky guy, right? I mean, I'm not touching I'm not
Yeah,
touching a guy who shows doubt in himself at all, man. I
you
don't
want
want
the
to see
guy
that.
who walks the line really well between confident and humble,
And
because like
humble, yeah.
yeah, you really do, because cocky can become a negative thing, no doubt. But
Well,
the
I'll
other,
say this, Jim, real quick. Jim Haslett was asked why he passed on Aaron Rodgers when he was the head coach of the Saints, and he said, "Well, he was arrogant. I felt when we interviewed him, I felt like he didn't think there was anything he could get better at." But I mean, 10 years into Aaron Rodgers' career, if you had asked Jim Haslett, "Are you happy with
that's
the
why
fact that you
everybody
passed
passed
on
on
him?"
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron
You
Rodgers had
do
the
you,
same issue. He rubbed people the
and
wrong way
look
in his interviews.
and
Yep.
and look what he became, man. So I
Hmm.
mean, he's a Hall of Fame player, won a Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Yep. The Niners took Alex Smith over him, and then he fell precipitously. I mean, MS says, so you choose Fields type or Shador type? I mean, I'm not. Are you sure? Do you understand what he's asking with that question, Brandon? Because
Well, I think
I don't
I
really
think he's saying
choose either
Shador's.
one.
I think he's saying Shador is more the arrogance and Fields is more humble. But Ant-Mass, I'm not sure if
I
you
just
ever
want the
read any.
talent.
I don't know if you ever read any of the reports post Fields' tenure here. He wasn't a real big fan of being coached.
Yeah, and he didn't want to hear anything from the veteran quarterbacks on
No,
this
that's what I
roster.
mean. I don't mean in
Yeah,
regards to his head coach, but in his quarterback coach or his offensive coordinator. I mean, they brought in guys like Andy Dalton and Nick Foles to kind of guide him and tutor him, and he wanted nothing to do with it.
I like
So
the
it's
guys who I know who they are, Brandon. I guess is my like Fields. Remember, he had the whole thing where I actually respected him. He called out his offensive coordinator. He called out his coaches because he was not being coached to succeed. That was, and everyone saw that. But then he walked it back as soon as
yeah, he
it came to
apologized.
light. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Listen, if that's the guy you are, be that guy. Like you said, I respect Shador because he's like, this is who I am. I'm gonna put it out there, and that's gonna be what it is. You can take me or you can not, and you can regret it. I respect that guy more than the guy who wants to be humble out in public, but in private ain't listening to a Nick Foles in the locker room because he thinks he knows better, and he didn't. He obviously didn't. He could have used that kind of guidance and that help, I think. And if I was a quarterback coming into the league, I'd be trying to soak up as much as I can from anybody who could potentially offer me anything, but at the same time have that confidence that you're going to be the best quarterback on the team. You know, there's a way to walk that line. I think Shador, I mean, if you grow up in a house with Deion Sanders, you can be coached. Shador Sanders coaches in everything. Deion Sanders coaches in everything that he does. You know, that's
Well,
kind of who he is. So
and I'll say this: I think a quarterback has to at least be a leader. You can't be timid. Your quarterback needs to be a captain on your football team. I firmly believe that, Dustin. You can't have a guy. It's like he's the guy who calls the play. He's the guy who's constantly the coach is in this guy's ear, but he's not a leader enough for us to make him a captain on this football. You know what I mean? I don't want
yeah.
that. So
So
he's got to be
what we were
commanding.
Yeah, and I think that there are good positive attributes with Shador, and I don't know if he's going to turn into a great quarterback in the NFL. I don't know that there is one in this draft. But if I had to put my money on somebody, I'd put it on Shador because I do like his confidence and I do like his ability to stand in the pocket and deliver a pass. But what we were talking about earlier today kind of transitions us here. Sometimes he stands in the pocket too long. Oftentimes, him and Cam Ward both have a very slow release time, and that's their biggest knock on them coming into this draft. And I was reading this in this article and thinking about the fact that you know Cam Ward has a 2.91 seconds to throw. He's holding on to that ball, trying to make that deep throw. And as you point out, Brandon, he's very good at it. Made a lot of very good deep throws this year. Led
Yeah,
the
I,
led the
I
college football in 25 plus yard passes, basically.
yeah, and I can't remember what it was, but by week 8, I believe he was like 20 passes ahead of the next quarterback for 25 plus yard throws.
Yeah,
I mean, it
but
was an astronomical number.
and listen, I'm not taking anything away from these guys, but these are the knocks on them coming into the draft that they hold the ball too long. Shador Sanders for the season 2.96, Cam Ward 2.91, both some of the lowest in college football. Your average time to release in college football is 2.76 seconds this year. So I'm thinking about that. And then I start thinking about Caleb Williams, who was like a 3.12 in college. That was the biggest knock on him coming out of college. And rightfully so. The guy took 68 sacks this past season. Now, all of them were not his fault, but a good amount of them were. He's holding the ball too long, trying to make the big play instead of working within the system. So, I mean, I think Shador Sanders and Cam Ward, to be truly successful in the NFL, got to get with the right offensive coordinator who's going to coach them properly. But then they got to make the throw that the coach schemes. They got to make the throw that the defense gives them. And I think this was a big theme with Caleb this past season, too. Work within the system. And then when you need to, your off schedule stuff can be the X factor of the game. It can't be what you lean on all the time. I think Cam Ward and Shador Sanders are going to have to deal with that the same way Caleb Williams did. And Caleb Williams still has to deal with that, Brandon. And that's a big reason why Ben Johnson is here, I think. So I just thought there was an interesting parallel there between the amount of time to throw for these guys and how that worked for Caleb in his rookie season and what we should expect from Caleb in his second season, as well, because it's still an issue.
Yeah, and I'm a big Cam Ward fan, and I was
What up,
asked by
Shorty?
Sean, another host here on Four Stars. He asked me, "Is there anything that concerns you about Cam Ward?" And I said, "It's actually his intermediate passing game, his checkdowns, the underthrows, because same as Caleb Williams, guys we watched all year. Sometimes they're so desperate for the big play, or even when I say big, even the 15, 20-yard downfield pass, they're overlooking the guy that's standing right in front of them, calling for the ball. And in the NFL." You take the chunk yards, man. You know what I mean? If you've got a guy who's 6 yards down the field, that's a 6 yard pass. You've got 4 to go.
Move the
You got to
chain.
capitalize.
Move
Yeah.
the chains. Yeah.
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 Caleb did
So
that quite a bit. It was the one thing that frustrated me probably more than actually taking the sacks was the biggest thing, but after that it was just not settling for checking the ball down if nothing else is there downfield, especially with the offensive line kind of closing in on you. You know what I mean?
Well, those two things are one and the same, Brandon, and that's kind of the point. If you're holding the ball too long, trying to make the big play, it will lead to sacks. And so if he's not taking that quick throw, and Ben Johnson's going to be scheming up a lot of that, and a lot more under center, and a lot more play action to get the chunk yards. And Caleb is used to working in the shotgun, and he's used to holding on to that ball to make the big play. If you're not working within the system that Ben Johnson develops for you this coming season, it's going to be a lot of long days and a lot of sacks again. I think Caleb is fully capable of doing it, but I think when you look at these quarterbacks coming into the league that play hero ball a lot, that's the biggest thing that you have to coach out of them. And when guys don't get it coached out of them, they tend to fail. They tend to bust. You have to work within the system provided to you. Josh Allen was a 3.22 his rookie season in terms of time to release. The last two seasons, he's gotten down to a 2.88. And that's led to his two most successful seasons, an MVP season. And he credits Brian Dable with helping him fix that. So what I'm basically asking you, because I thought about this around Caleb Williams, is Ben Johnson that Brian Dable in this situation for Caleb? And do we expect that Ben Johnson can help Caleb fix his biggest flaw? That it still is his biggest flaw, I think.
Well, I trust Ben Johnson in finding the weaknesses in each individual player because he has already kind of addressed multiple players directly about things that they need to improve on. And when I say need, I would imagine if there are things that these guys don't get better at, Ben Johnson's basically telling you there's somebody else who will. He told Braxton Jones, I'm challenging you to put on some weight in your lower half there and become at the anchor that you need to be when these bull rushers come through you. Because how many times do we see Braxton Jones end up in Caleb's lap? But another one that I didn't know this conversation happened. Another guy that he addressed was DeAndre Swift. He said, you're always looking for the home run. That a lot of times you don't often just take the 2-3 yards in front of you. I need you to start getting those yards. I need you to start getting whatever's there. I need you to if the gap that opened up where you're supposed to go is only 3-4 yards, take it.
Well, listen,
Don't start running backwards and looking for
I
a
feel
home
like you're
run.
getting into a different topic a little bit. I want to make sure. I want to make sure
Well, I
we.
think Caleb Williams, or I think Ben Johnson's going to identify that. I don't think this is. I don't think what we just talked about, Dustin, is
It
going to be
better
news to
already
Ben
be
Johnson.
identified. It better
Yeah,
already
it's
be
not going to be
identified.
news to Ben Johnson. He's going to have these analytics in front of him, and he's going to define a way for Caleb Williams to do better.
And Ben
For
Johnson
sure.
is certainly here with his number one priority being to make Caleb Williams the best quarterback possible. That is 100% why he was hired. And we can get into the accountability stuff because that's a whole nother thing. Caleb needs to be challenged. Caleb wants to be challenged. And I think Ben Johnson is the guy to do that. But I just want to, I just want to really hammer home like these quarterbacks coming into this NFL in this upcoming draft, their biggest weakness is very much shared with Caleb when he was coming into this draft. And these guys are all developmental, and you need the right coach to fix it. I don't. Caleb didn't have that last year, and you saw the results, Brandon. It was a league high sacks. I mean, not a lot of turnovers, which was impressive, But again, the deep ball accuracy wasn't there, as was pointed out, I believe, by Dante. Thanks for joining us, Dante, man.
Well,
Yeah, time
and
to
you saw
release and deep ball. So, I mean, these are things that have to be fixed in Caleb's game and in this Bears offense for Caleb to go to the next level. And I believe Ben Johnson is the guy to do it. I just want to see it, and I want to see how he approaches it.
well, yeah, and then more importantly, man, from the system that Caleb was placed in and what it didn't provide, we saw guys like Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix go to play, the Kingsbury, the Sean Paytons. We saw these guys go to systems with Ben Johnson's and succeed almost immediately. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
it's it's important. It's very important where these guys end up. And Eli Manning was drafted somewhere he didn't want to play. He chose somewhere else, and he won 2 Super Bowls. It's important. It's very important. Not just the guy who's going to tutor you, but the system that you're in. I do want to say this, Dustin. I've been wanting to talk about these quarterbacks in this draft class for a while, and I believe it's very possible that this entire quarterback class are all worse than every quarterback taken in the first round from last year.
bro, a lot of scouts are saying if JJ McCarthy was in this draft, he would be the number one quarterback, and
Yeah,
that's
I don't
crazy.
doubt
That's
that.
crazy. That's crazy.
And JJ McCarthy might be better than both the guys who will go first round in this draft.
Listen, man, you see what Jaden Daniels did last year. You see what Caleb Williams did last year. You see what Bo Nix did last year. Even Michael Penix and Limit. That quarterback class of last year, it's
Drake May
unfair.
was
It's
flashy.
Drake May was great. I didn't even bring him up. I mean, that quarterback class last year was unbelievable, and it has a chance
Historic.
to be. It has a chance to be the best quarterback class of all time. It really does.
Yeah,
If you look at
I
what these guys
agree.
have did their rookie season and what they could continue to do. So it's unfair, honestly, to compare Cam Ward and Shador Sanders to these guys. But I will say, I think Will Howard is a sneaky gem in this draft. And if he goes to a team like the Steelers, or if he goes to a team like I don't know, the Chargers as their backup quarterback, if he finds himself in the Dolphins with Mike McDaniel, if he finds himself in the right situation where he's not forced into playing right away, but has a good offensive coach to work with, what we're talking about, to help him get better at the things that he needs to get better at, I think he could be a Kirk Cousins type player in the NFL. I think he's got the leadership, he's got all the intangibles, he's got a hell of an arm, I think. And I mean,
He's got one
he's
hell of a frame, man. The guy's like 6'5", 225.
he played his best football in the college football playoffs. That's all you need to know. Like, he stepped up when it mattered most. But Shorty's right. This is a bad QB class. But I do think Sanders is better than he is given credit for, and I think these knocks on him are unfair. I think a quarterback needy team is going to jump on these guys, and I think Will Howard will be a steal. I really do. I don't know about Jackson Dart. I don't know how I feel about him. But I think Ward will be a solid starter in the NFL. I think Sanders will be too, and I think so will Will Howard. So, I mean,
What do you
I
think?
just
What do you think of Dylan Gabriel?
I don't think of Dylan Gabriel at all.
I think Dylan Gabriel's a better prospect than Quinn Ewers.
I don't think Quinn Ewers is very good at all,
No, I
man.
think he's all. I think Quinn Ewers is going to be a
Yeah,
backup for
he's all
life.
he's not a good quarterback. Anytime the pressure's on, he makes the mistake. He doesn't make the play. That's what I've seen from him. I do like Jalen Milroe. I will say that he's another guy that I think is a sneaky upside in this draft. A team's going to take a shot on him in the second or third round, and that might pay off for him. I mean, you're doing a lot of projection with these guys, but you got to fix the things that you see that they're bad at. Ward and Sanders, that time to release they got to go somewhere where people are coaching that out of them. And then again, I just want to see what Ben Johnson does with Caleb this season in that realm, because I think that is the most important thing when it comes to Caleb. And you brought up the accountability stuff. Ben Johnson is already challenging Caleb. He will challenge the shit out of him all year. Caleb's job's never going to be in jeopardy. That's not a thing he can do, but he will hold him accountable in the film room and on the practice field and on the football field during games. And he's going to change the system an awful lot, Brandon. So it's going to be a lot on Caleb Williams. You're going to go from a guy who's played 75% of his snaps in the shotgun since college, in high school, in Caleb Williams, to you're going to be under center a lot. That's going to be a big transition for him. You're going to be doing a lot of play action. Number one play action in the league last year for the Lions, and the Bears were 30th, I believe, in play action. So those things will make life easier for Caleb, but he's going to have a lot of challenges in learning this offense and getting accustomed to a completely different way of playing football. The chat don't like Shedeur Sanders. I didn't expect them to. I didn't expect any of you to like Shedeur Sanders.
I think that Ben Johnson, I think this is why I said this again and again and again last year, Dustin, when people ask me why I'm so impressed with Caleb Williams versus what Jaden Daniels was doing. People were like, why are you still so convinced that Caleb's the best quarterback in this class? It's going to be important. What I said now more than ever is that I think he's the most intelligent. I think he's the best processor. And I think he has the highest football IQ. And I think when that comes to learning a brand new system that's so different from the one you were in after only 1 year in the NFL, this is when that football IQ is going to be most important.
Yeah, but again, I mean, we're talking about the concern of the time to release. It is a concern that he's in a new offense. He had multiple offensive coordinators last season in his rookie season, and now he's got another new one, and he's got to learn that is hard on young quarterbacks. We cannot give that enough credence. That this is going to be hard on Caleb Williams, and it's something that he's going to have to overcome. But I agree with you. He's got the mental strength. He's got the leadership ability. He's got the smarts to pick it up pretty quickly and make something special out of it. But I don't think we should expect that like that. It's going to be a very challenging season for Caleb Williams, regardless. As easy as Ben Johnson's offense can make it on a quarterback, it's not going to be that quick and easy for Caleb and Ben Johnson. It's just not.
It's going to be fun to watch, man. It's going to be fun to see how it progresses.
Yeah, man.
And we're going to find out.
I'm excited.
If Ben Johnson is the real deal.
All signs indicate that he is, and the same with Caleb. So I mean I feel good about it, but we still need to see it in practice and on the football field. And there's going to be growing pains. I want to make sure we keep that in perspective for Caleb Williams, because we had very lofty expectations for him last year, and the things that he was bad at in college that he needed to work on, they were still issues last season, and they still need to be coached out of him going into this season. Shorty asked, would we trade from 10 to 21 if the Steelers wanted to move up to 10 to draft Sanders? It would depend on what we were getting. We were kind of touching on the TJ Watt thing. Is there any fire to that smoke? I mean, could he be involved in that kind of trade, or are you getting their second and their third, or what are you getting? I mean, I need more than one extra pick to move back 11 spots.
I actually thought about this. I saw the Steelers in a mock draft. I think it was PFF's latest mock draft, taking Shedeur Sanders at 21, and I thought to myself, "There's just no way this guy's going to be there. He's the second best quarterback in the draft. The top two quarterbacks in the NFL drafts don't make it past the top 15 picks.
In this draft, they might."
And then I thought to myself, what would it take for me to trade back to 21? That's a pretty far way back from where you're at. And I think it would cost their 21st overall pick, the second round pick they have in this draft, and their fourth. I think that's what it would take for me.
I mean, at the very minimum, again, if this TJ Watt thing is legit in any way, I'll swap the 10 and 21 if you give me TJ Watt with it. That's all I need, and we'll be good.
Well,
we can wash our hands.
And I know I'm on record saying this. I want the Bears back in the fourth round in this draft. I think this is a deep draft. It's got a lot of starting quality talent in it. I want the Bears back in the fourth round. I think this is an important draft to have those mid round picks.
And if you were to take that trade without getting a TJ Watt, I mean, which again is just complete speculation. We're just having fun here. If you were to do that, who do you draft? I mean, you're going to draft a few guys. I mean, I know Brandon is very high on Henderson. I'm much higher on Judkins. I do think that I don't want to get too offense heavy in this draft. I still think this defense needs a lot of work, man. But I mean, offensively, I mean, Genty is there at 10. Do you take him? Like, you need that running back, right? You're bringing up Henderson, Shorty. I mean, it came out today
Well,
that Matt
if
Miller said that the Bears, by all the scouts watching and execs watching what the Bears have been doing throughout this process, they are in love with Genty. And then it's also possible, Rappaport said today, that the Raiders don't want to take a running back at 6. They have too many other needs.
Yeah,
So
they can't afford to. And
exactly. So
Shorty,
what do you
I
do
do
there?
love Travion Henderson. I really do, but I don't think even if you trade back to 21, I still don't think you need to take him there.
No, that's the second round. That's the second round pick.
Yeah.
Trayvon Henderson, second round pick. With that 21 pick, I'm looking at a defensive end. Does somebody fall there? And we're going to get into that a little bit. But I mean, I'm looking at a defensive end or the left tackle potential still at that 21 pick, if that's what you were referring to. Shorty
Yeah,
does
I think
want offensive heavy for.
I think Judkins, Caleb Johnson, Omarion Hampton, and Genty will go probably with first first round to early second. I think Travion and Sampson might be the guys who kind of fill that second tier, that second wave of running backs selected off the board.
I
Just
feel
because,
like
and I don't
they're
think
all in the same
Henderson,
area, man.
I don't think Henderson hasn't earned, a high second round pick, even late first. Just haven't seen a crazy amount of this guy, man. He
Yeah, well,
hasn't
and the
gotten
injuries, he
thousand
he
snaps.
he had some injury issues at Ohio State too. I think I think you're going to see a crazy run at running backs in the early second to mid second round. Man. I think you're going to see all of them go off the board by the time the middle of the second round comes.
That's how our
I
mock
don't
drafts
maybe
have it.
yeah, man. I think that's the way it's going to go. I think you're going to get teams needy of that running back position and attacking it there. But what are your thoughts on the Genty thing, man? Matt Miller saying the Bears love him by all accounts. Rappaport saying the Raiders, who we all thought was like this consensus that they're taking Genty at 6. If they don't, and Genty's there at 10, are you taking him if you're Ryan Poles? I mean, it appears they
You
love
you
him.
know how I feel. If the Bears pick Ashton Genty at 10, I won't be upset at all. I think
I
he's a
wouldn't
blue
either.
chip talent. I think he's a blue chip. Listen, I have Mason Graham, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Jahad Campbell, and Ashton Genty
What
is
up,
my
Tiana?
five. These are my blue chip players. I mean, hands down, without a doubt, impactful players from week
Shorty,
one
this
in
ain't gonna be the
whatever
show for Shorty, bro. Because we're
in,
gonna focus on some defense. But go ahead, Brent. Sorry.
in, in whatever team or scheme or system these guys are drafted to. Travis Hunter, Mason
Foster.
Graham, Abdul Carter, Tyler Warren, Ashton Genty, Jahad Campbell. Whatever system these guys go to, they're immediate impact players. Day one starters, best player on the unit. That's what I feel. So if they take Ashton Genty at number 10, I'm more than okay with that. I do believe though, if you're going to spend the first round pick on a running back, it's got to be trenches, trenches, trenches from there on.
Shorty, we're not doing the T formation, but I thought we talked about this last week. Um, he wants the 2 running backs back to back. Listen, man, there's this thing that's been happening in Chicago with a lot of Bears fans, and it's just strange to me. Um, I'm not saying I want to draft Genty at 10. I like Judkins better. It's because I like Judkins better. It's because I think he's a better running back. I think Genty's a really fucking good running back. You got him in your
Well,
top
God,
5.
good Lord, man, that video I sent you to Judkins is
Yeah,
massive. I mean, that
yeah,
guy
man.
is just massive.
I want to make this point though, Brandon. You got him in your top 5, and that is legit. You watch Genty play football, and I don't care who his competition is, he is dominating it, dominating it. He takes hits and keeps on running. He breaks tackles. He makes dudes miss. He's a much better pass blocker than he get gets credit for in terms of protecting the quarterback in the backfield. He's a much better receiver out of the backfield than he gets credit for. Genty is a fucking awesome talent, and he is potentially a blue chip player in this draft. So there's this thing happening where everybody's just like, I don't want any part of Genty. I only don't want Genty because I think you can get a running back that's better or just as good in the second round, and I don't think the value equates. But if you take Genty at 10, he's going to be dominant in the Ben Johnson offense. He just is. And if you don't want that, I don't understand that. He would be a Pro Bowl player potentially his first year behind this revamped offensive line.
Yeah, and each person's going to have their preference to what happens, what plays out in this draft. But I was listening
preference
to
in
ESPN
saying
1000.
that Genty is not good enough to go at 10 are two different things.
I'm listening to ESPN 1000, and they were talking about a mock draft where they were running through the first 10 picks, and Genty went off the board. I think to Jacksonville. It was a place that he's not normally mocked, but Carmen DeFalco in the back, you just hear Carmen say, "Thank God that Genty's no longer on the board when the Bears are going to pick." It's a strange reaction, man. I remember thinking to myself, like, thank God that one of the top 6 players in this draft is
taken before
no
you have an
available.
opportunity to pick.
Yeah. I would love for all 6 of the guys I just named to be there at 10 so the Bears can pick from all of them. Maybe Genty's not the guy then, but if any of those guys, Campbell, the guys like Hunter, Carter, any of these, Graham, Warren, any of these guys are still there, Genty, the Bears should take them.
It's silly to me. I mean, if anybody's upset, and there will be people that will be upset that if Genty were to go to the Bears because they don't want him that badly because he plays in the Mountain West or because he's overhyped or whatever. That's just silly. This guy is going to be a stud.
Running back. I think a lot of it's got to do with the fact that he's a running back.
He's going to be a stud in the NFL, Brandon. If the Bears got him, he would be an immediate impact player on their team. My stance is just that the running back class is too deep to spend a top 10 pick there when you have so many other needs to address, similar to what Rappaport said about the Raiders today. Spending a 6 on Genty doesn't make sense for a team that has so many needs. It feels like a value pick. But he's going to be an awesome player in the NFL, period, end of story. You can't debate that. I don't think you can.
And I've stayed true to this no matter what the position does. Then we talk about, is the Bears' greatest need a tight end? No, but if Tyler Warren's there, I draft him. Is the Bears' greatest need a linebacker? No, but if Jahad Campbell's there, I take him. If the Bears' greatest need is a corner, no, but if Will Johnson's the best blue chip talent left,
these are all guys that will impact your team immediately.
They'll impact. Yes.
They'll impact your team immediately. They'll be immediate impact players on your team. That's what it comes down to for me. And Genty is that guy. That's really my point. You can't say he's not that guy based on what he's shown on film up to this point. You just can't.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that you want to draft. It's like, man, this guy is that, as opposed to this guy might be or could be or will be. I take is over will be any day.
Yeah, and Tyler Warren's that guy. And Shorty said he wants Warren. And I mean, if it was a choice between Warren and Genty, I would feel really good about that because you're going to get a stud out of one of those two guys no matter what. You really are. And I mean, you can flip your draft and then go get your left tackle in the second round if that's what you wanted. If that's the route you
There's
go.
A guy that I'm starting to like, man, after we brought it up on last week's show, I've watched a lot of Connerly.
Josh Connerly is really.
This kid can play football, man. I mean,
Brandon,
he can play football.
I keep saying he could end up being the best left tackle in this draft, and he's falling to the second round in every mock. I think he'll end up going in the late first. To be honest, I don't think he's going to be there in the second, and I think a team, whoever gets him, it's going to be a steal. My only point is that there's different ways you can skin this cat, and you don't have to put yourself in a box. You want to get the best player available, and if Genty's that to Ryan Poles, I mean. I'm gonna have faith in that. Last year he ended up with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, and I'm pretty happy with those picks.
And you have a guy in Ben Johnson who's very creative. So as good as Genty is already, Ben Johnson's gonna find a way to utilize this guy that other coaches won't. You know what I mean? He just is. He does this. So Genty and Ben Johnson together, it's like Jahmyr Gibbs and you know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah, it's going to be
like that. It's exciting, man. I would be excited if Ashton Genty is drafted to the Bears at number 10. I'd be excited to see what that presents in the future.
Yeah, man, and the Bears, by all accounts, are in love with the guy. So, guys, don't be surprised if he's there. That he's the pick, and I think we'll end up being okay with that if that's what happens. But the number 10 pick, it seems to be like nobody knows which direction they're going, man, and I think you gotta analyze which side of the ball needs the most help, which needs that impact player the most, right? Because like obviously you want to just take the best player available at 10. We continue to say that, but can you read any tea leaves in terms of how Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson are evaluating this offense and evaluating this defense, saying where do I need that impact player the most, and is that going to lend itself to have them lean one way or the other at that number 10 pick, Brandon?
Yep. And if Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles feel this guy is what's going to make this team, give another dynamic to this offense or defense, whatever it is, whoever it is they're looking at, I trust that they know more than I do.
I want to give some love to this chat real quick because Foster said he had Genty going to the Giants, and then Shorty says, Foster, if the Giants drafted Genty that early, that would be just stupid. They have way too many needs. I feel like we're saying that about a lot of teams that are thinking about drafting Genty. All these teams in the top 10 have a lot of needs. And then Amphiora is saying, I can see the Giants front office being that stupid, overcompensating for letting Barkley walk. That was my first thought when I see Genty to the Giants. It's like you had Saquon Barkley and you let him go to your division rival. The Giants are that stupid. Their front office is that stupid. Joe Shane made an ass of himself on that Hard Knocks this past year.
Yeah, and I'm
And
not
the off
justifying.
season. I just
The
want
poor
to
decision.
make the point that if the Giants were to do that, it would be ridiculously dumb. You let him go because you let Barkley go because you think you don't need him, and then you turn around and draft
Well,
Genty
and I'll say this,
in this
guys, like
first round.
it's dumb to me because, like I said, at 3, you have a listen, Genty. I love Genty, and we're talking about him Genty being there at 10. At 3, you're going to have either Mason Graham, Travis Hunter, and Abdul Carter available to you. Not drafting one of those guys over Genty is dumb to me. That's
Yes,
dumb.
yes. Well, no, and now the Giants are pretty damn good at the defensive line. I will say that. Like Abdul Carter feels like a luxury pick for them. Mason Graham feels like a luxury pick for them a little bit with how good that defensive line is. They got some studs over there.
And I don't know. They need to improve their quarterback position, man. That is
Yeah,
the one.
signing
That
Russell,
is the
signing
one need that outweighs who's the best player available, man. That the quarterback need is pretty damn important, man.
signing Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston is not fixing your quarterback situation. I would not be surprised if they went Shador Sanders. I really wouldn't. Brian Dable is the kind of coach that would say, I can make this guy good in the NFL. He really is. The perfect pick to me for the Giants is Travis Hunter. I mean, Travis Hunter
But I also
makes the
I don't
most sense
remember.
for me.
Yeah, Travis Hunter and Malik Neighbors. Good lord,
Together
but
on offense, yeah,
yeah,
Jesus.
I don't remember his name, which I guess doesn't help my argument here. But I thought the kid that they had playing running back played pretty well at the end of last season, man.
What was his name? It started with a T, right? Tyree, was it Tyree or something? What the hell was his
He
name?
was, I think he was a rookie, and
Yeah,
he might not even
he
have
was
been.
Tracy. It was Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy.
Yeah.
I thought he played well. I mean, he wasn't Saquon Barkley, and that's who people are going to compare him to. But thought he did a good job. I thought on an abysmal offense that Giants was. I mean, that team was terrible. I thought Tracy was the best part of it, besides
Tyrone Tracy. Yeah.
Neighbors.
Well,
Honestly,
I was trying to lead you into our next topic when I was asking that last question. We got a little derailed there, but you wanted to touch on where the biggest need is often. Which side of the ball is better for the Bears right now? Like, where would you be addressing needs in the draft based on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball? Which one you feel best about? So you want to get into that a little
well,
bit?
yeah, and I'm gonna kind of relay the history here real quick. So we did headlines or deadlines, Dustin, where I asked you, where I said this. The statement was the offense is the better side of the football. in this upcoming 2025 season, headline or deadline. We both said headline. And I've come to find recently that there's a lot of fans. Our chat kind of disagreed with this. Kyle and Sean disagreed. I've come to find that there's a lot of people who think that still this Bears defense, which they've depended on their entire existence as an organization. So a lot of people that still think this is the side of the ball that's going to carry this team through victories. And I want to relay some numbers, guys. And this now we are talking about next season's projection. So you can't quantify this because the guys haven't played.
And
So
there's new
I want to be,
coaching, new systems. I mean, there's just
yes.
so many new
So
factors.
so I am going to do what we can quantify, and that's why I said on the thumbnail, guys, on
Lefty, what
paper,
up? Hit that like
on
button, y'all.
what's going on, Lefty? He's back. On
Yeah, right.
paper, who's better, their offense or the defense? And I've said this on CSP and on this show. I think the offensive line is probably ranked the top 12 unit on paper. I think the defensive line is probably somewhere between 18 to 22 on paper. And I'm going to read you some numbers, man. From now, these are Pro Football Focus grades and overall ranks. Okay, so I'm going to read you the offensive line on Chicago Bears next season, all the players on this
Let's
Bears
get to
roster
it.
next season,
Yeah, let's get
and the
to it.
defensive line. This is the combination of pass blocking and run blocking, and the combination of pass rush and run defense. So offensive line, here we go. Joe Tooney, sorry, 12th overall in the league at the position. Jonah Jackson, 40th overall at the position. Dahlman, 4th at the position. Jones, 20th. Braxton Jones, 20th overall at the position. Darnell Wright,
Sounds right.
16th overall at the position. One player on their offensive line in 2025 will have been outside of the top 20 from last season. Okay. Their defensive line. Now, I'm putting five guys out there just to compare it to the five offensive players, even though they're going to have a defensive line of four starters. Dale was 76th. Grady Jarrett was 71st. Jervon Dexter was 28th. Billings was 69th. And Montez Sweat was 79th.
69.
Montez Sweat, the highest paid player in this defense, was ranked the worst of the five guys I just stated. But I want to stress this.
He's the
None of
highest
these
paid player on the
players,
team in general, isn't he? Isn't he at
yes,
the yeah.
he's the fourth highest paid defensive lineman in football. None of the defensive linemen on this team were inside the top 20 from last year. None of them. You had one player on your offensive line last year ranked outside the top 20. None of your defensive linemen were ranked inside the top 20 last year. So on paper, Dustin, going into the 2025 season, which unit's better?
Listen, I will say this. It's cool to hear that Javon Dexter was the best performing because I do like Javon Dexter, and
Which
I
didn't
think he.
surprise me, honestly.
No, it didn't. I think he improved his game a lot last year, and I expect him to continue to improve his game this year. And that's kind of the trouble with this kind of exercise. You're looking at last year's grades, and multiple of these guys
That's
were on.
really all you can do.
I know, but it also doesn't really mean much to me because multiple of these guys, and especially on the offensive side of the ball, were on different teams and in different situations with different coaches. You're adding new coaches to the
Well,
situation. Let me finish. You're adding new coaches to the system. You're adding new systems for these players to figure out, and you're just going to see a completely different result than we saw last year. If I'm looking at these guys, I'm just going to say straight up that I feel a lot better about the offensive line than I do the defensive line going into this season. If the Bears made no changes to this offensive line at all, and this was the offensive line we were going into day one with, I feel a lot better about them than I do this defensive line. That's with Braxton Jones at
well,
left tackle.
and none of these guys are rookies from last year. I mean, this is typically where these guys kind of finish around year in and year out. Grady Jarrett's pretty old now, so I don't expect him to be too much higher than where he was last season, honestly, even on this Bears team. Darnell Wright is a player I
It
expect to
could happen.
improve. Darnell Wright, I expect to improve. I hope Montez Sweat improves from 79th overall, Dustin. I
He
really
fucking
fucking
better.
hope he improves.
He
But
better.
my point is, you have guys who are all playing in the top tier at their position on this offensive line, and you have a bunch of players who fell Dustin, not even in the
Well,
center of that.
you didn't paint a Brandon, even with using the numbers that you just gave, you didn't paint a pretty picture of this offensive line. Jonah Jackson, 40th, Darnell Wright, a top 10 pick, not even in the top half of right
And
tackles
and
starting.
I don't think that he is.
Yeah, so
I
I mean, but he could be. Again, you got to project as well as look back. And I mean, Darnell Wright
Why,
should take a
that's the
leap.
name that I mentioned first. I think that he'll take a leap
Darnell Wright
forward.
should Darnell Wright should take a leap. Javon Dexter
Yeah.
should take a leap.
I
Montez
don't know
Sweat
that
should.
Jonah Jackson's gonna.
I don't either, but I'm going to say that Montez Sweat should his numbers should go back towards a mean for him in his career. That was a very low end for in terms of production for Montez Sweat. There should be some kind of regression towards the mean with that. So you do it, and again, Dennis Allen, a defensive coordinator that is just a defensive coordinator, not a head coach calling the entire game as the defensive coordinator as well. That's going to make a difference. These guys are getting coached up in a different way. I could
Yeah, I
see
mean,
improvement on this
Flus
defensive
actually
line
coached.
without additions too.
Flus actually coached a pretty good defense, man. I'm not going to take that away from him as much as I disrespect him as a head coach. He actually had
But
that defense pretty well in line.
what I was saying is that he was spread thin, Brandon. He wasn't
As
capable
soon
of
as
doing that.
Yeah, but as soon as he was fired, the defense was noticeably worse. But
Well, that also coincided with a lot of injuries, which we're not accounting for in this conversation as well, which I don't think we should. You're saying on paper. I will say this again, Brandon. The offensive line is way better than the defensive
to
line
me,
in
I
a
agree.
much better place in my mind going into this season than the defensive line. I think the defensive line still has major holes and a whole lot of ifs. If Javon Dexter takes the leap, if Austin Booker develops into a better second year player, if Montez Sweat
If
goes
my
back to
sweat earns his money, yeah.
if Montez Sweat goes back to getting at least 10 sacks in a season and earns that money, if Billings stays healthy, there's way if Jarrett can
If
stay healthy for
Deo,
the entire
if
for,
Deo progresses,
and we haven't really mentioned Dio, and Dio could be a great addition for this team. And I love his size, I love his strength, I love what he can bring to this defense in terms of helping them stop the run and set the edge. But you need a real pass rusher on this fucking defense, dude. I can't count on Montez Sweat to be it right now, and I can't count on all these ifs on this defensive line. I think you've taken a lot of ifs from the offensive line last year and turned them into yes sirs. These are good guys we can count on that they're
turn
gonna
him
at
into
least
answers. Yeah.
hold their own, hold their own. So I mean, and you haven't done that with the defensive line. Grady Jarrett does not fix that for me. I don't know what to expect from Dio. I think the Bears expect an awful lot from him if they paid him what they paid him. You've seen them make attempts to improve both sides. I think the improvements on the offensive side of the ball in terms of that offensive line are a lot more confidence inspiring than the ones on the defensive side.
I think they're certainly going to be more impactful, Dustin. I really do, and I'm not trying to be a downer, guys. Grady Jarrett was not. I was not as excited as everybody else was. It was actually called, I forget by whom. The CSP went over it. It was called the worst offseason signing 2025. Grady Jarrett, and Dio has to get better than being the 76th overall at his position in order to make an impact on this team. And the positional players, Dustin, the results almost the same. All of the offensive players, DJ Moore, Ramdunze, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, Caleb Williams, are at an average of about late like 39. Then the positional players on defense, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyle Gordon, Brisker, Edmonds, Edwards, and Byard, are an average of about 85.
Why'd you say
So
39? 39 what? What do you
average
average
for
what?
their where they rank out of their
Oh,
so DJ
okay.
Moore is
39th
DJ
in the
Moore
league.
DJ Moore was 37th at his position. Adunze was 73rd. I did
Okay.
put an asterisk. Rookie. Swift was 43rd. Komet was 31st. Caleb was 44th. Rookie. Okay. So
Mhm.
Jalen Johnson was the highest, obviously, on defense at 18th. Kyler Gordon was next at 20th. Tyreek Stevenson was ranked 133rd.
The biggest issue, the
133rd.
The biggest issue that does not get talked about when it comes to this Bears defense and what they need to improve, Tyreek Stevenson, that's another big if we're going down now into the defensive backfield, because we were talking about the defensive line, but Tyreek Stevenson maintaining his starting role as the cornerback opposite of Jalen Johnson, that is a big up in the air thing in my mind. He had a very tumultuous season. He did not perform very well as much as I thought he would. I thought he would be a top 10 corner in the league. I really had those type of expectations for him, right? And then Jaquan Brisker, can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? Can he not
Brisker
get
was ranked
another head injury?
72nd.
And I mean, and we all saw him as having a breakout season. I mean, again, these PFF grades, it's okay, whatever. I mean, I don't know how much they mean
It's
to me.
analytics.
I
It's
watched
analytics.
I watched Jaquan Brisker play, and he was playing very well before he got injured. It made a big impact
In
on this
some areas,
defense.
yeah, he's a run defending monster.
His coverage is always going to be suspect. He got a little better at it, but yeah, he'll give up deep balls. That is a thing that he has done since he's been on the Chicago Bears. He will have lapses in coverage. So I mean, like I think there are multiple areas that need to be addressed in terms of not just depth but starters. But I don't think you worry about the depth of this offensive line before you worry about who are your starters on your defensive line. And I mean,
I
Montez Sweat's supposed to be your
100% agree. And I think that the offense you have now, before the draft, and you're going to add some players there, right? But I'm guessing the free
Mhm.
agency is all but wrapped up. The offense you have now at both the line and the skill player positions is a good offense, Dustin. I think it's a top 15 offense in the NFL.
I gotta
I think
say this
Caleb
real quick.
Williams, DJ Moore, Roma
Yeah, yeah.
Dunze, Cole Kmet, this is a top 15 offense in the NFL.
I don't want to just brush this over because Dante, you are 100% right, and this is a statement that needs to be made when you're talking about Tyreek. It's the statement I made throughout last season, Brandon, when me and you were arguing about Tyreek and I was defending him. He is targeted a hell of a lot because he is opposite of Jalen Johnson. He faces the team that they're playing against, puts their number one receiver on Tyreek Stevenson's side every game, all game. They're going to get that matchup because they know that the Bears were not moving their cornerbacks. This year, it's going to be different. Jalen Johnson will be shadowing the number one receiver. That should impact Tyreek Stevenson and his performance and his ability to put up some better numbers. Dante, thank you for bringing that up because we didn't want to just dog on Tyreek. I love Tyreek, man. He had a very disappointing season. I think he could bounce back in a
I
big
was
way,
concerned about
but you
Tyreek
can't
from
bank on
week
it.
one.
Yeah, I know, which kind of made you biased. I felt like in those conversations, to be honest.
Well,
But
he
at the
allowed
end,
10 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown against the Will Levis Titans. I was concerned about him week one,
uh,
and I was deservedly so. I was correct. And not only did he allow the play that broke the camel's back, when I say camel, I mean season. He was benched 3 times after that play.
and deservedly so, Brandon, and
Yeah.
deservedly so. All I'm saying is that there has to be context, and I thank Dante for bringing it up. I don't want to get into a whole argument about Tyreek Stevenson. We did that enough last year. Let's see how he does this
He's
year. It's just
got to play
that
better.
context is important. That context is important.
And
Um,
I think Al Harris reaching out to him and saying, I'd like you to go take this off-season camp. I think that'll definitely improve Tyreek Stevenson as a player. But I think the fact that Al Harris did it means that Al Harris has identified the fact that this guy needs to be better. He just needs to be better.
Well, anybody watching last season could have figured that out after that Commanders game. But yeah, it and it's good that he's going to attack that. And again, the coaching that you cannot quantify how much that's going to help these players. And Foster points out that Sweat was doubled a lot last year, and he had the nagging injury. So there is some reason to give benefit of the doubt. But these guys are paid handsomely, and they're starters on our defense, and we need them to perform better. Brandon, that does end up being what it boils down to. And I just want to say to Shorty, we're going to keep you up extra late tonight because we got a lot to get to still, man. Stick with us. We
Well,
appreciate you loving our show, man. Thanks for being
and I
here.
want to ask the guys in the chat, which side of the ball on paper do you think is better for the Chicago Bears in this upcoming 2025 season? Do you think they're
Who's
better on paper on the defensive side of the ball or on the offensive side of the football? And I do want to say this, man. One guy I didn't get to. Tremaine Edmonds was probably the biggest disappointment on this football team to me.
Jermaine Edmonds was awful last
Tremaine
season.
Edmonds is paid. He is one, if on the list of highest paid linebackers, guys, He's one player behind Roquan Smith. One play. He's Roquan Smith is paid $500,000 annually more than Tremaine Edmonds. Think about that. The
Brandon,
difference in these two players on the field is astronomical.
Brandon, the chat can. I mean, Dante throws out defense. I remember Dennis Moody on Monday said, the defense is the
Oh, most
strength
of
of
them
the.
said defense.
Yeah, and Dennis Moody said on Monday the strength of this defense, the strength of this team is the defense. And I said, well, what's a real strength on a 5-win team? You don't have a strength if you pull out 5 wins in a season. So I mean, I guess it's
A
like
punter.
what's what's the best of a bad situation? I guess people feel better about this defense. I personally don't. When I saw that a couple of injuries kind of just decimated this defense completely and turned them into a completely different unit than what I saw the first 5 weeks of the season, 6 weeks of the season, that became very concerning to me. And I just have a whole lot of confidence in Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams to feel a lot better about this offense than I do about this defense. Who's the leader on this defense? Is it Jalen Johnson? I can live with that. But like, who's the guy that's going to step up and say, these motherfuckers are not running down our throats like it happened to them all the second half of last season? The worst run defense in the NFL.
And yeah, and I'm going to say this. This is just my opinion, guys, but I believe
Amphioris,
there's.
thank you, bud. You got Amphioris saying he thinks the offense is better. Want at least 2 D linemen drafted.
Yeah, me and Dustin both believe that the
Yeah,
offense is on paper is a better unit on
I
paper,
feel a lot
guys.
better about the offense than the defense right now.
And I do want to say this. Last year, they lost whom I believe were their two best run defenders, Dustin. I think Andrew Billings and Jaquan Brisker were the two best run defenders on this football team, and they lost them both, and it showed. And unfortunately, Dustin, again, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. Billings and Brisker could both be injured again. It's at
Yep.
Billings' age and the injury that Brisker continues to sustain. This could happen all over again.
All I know is that we went into last season really banking very heavily on a whole lot of ifs, and that crumbled pretty quickly. Offensive line and defensive line. I think you made the moves to take away a lot of those ifs on the offensive line. I haven't seen anything done really. I mean, you're hoping for
And
Dio to be a great rotational piece for you. You're hoping for Montez Sweat to bounce back. You're hoping for Javon Dexter to take that leap. I'd like a couple more sure things on this
and
defensive line, personally.
and real quick, because we had the show where we talked about Javon Dexter's contract and how it's probably one of the best on this football team, which I
I
didn't
bet that was
disagree with.
Shorty and Mass. I bet that was Shorty.
Which I didn't disagree with, but I do want to say this. I was asked, like, I think
Good
people
point,
have
Dante.
this perception that I have like an animosity towards Javon Dexter. I don't at all, guys. And people ask me, how is when it comes to sacks and pressures and this and that, he's actually just as good as Jalen Carter. This is where I feel the difference is. I think when Javon Dexter plays a poor interior offensive line, he's able to exploit the hell out of them. I think he wreaks havoc. I think when he plays a quality interior offensive line, he almost disappears. Dustin, I know that you agree that during some of this games last year, you were texting with me. It's almost like he's not even there when he played a solid offensive line. He's just gone. And Jalen Carter is going to play no matter who the hell is across from him. He's going to be a problem. That's where I find the difference in the two.
Yeah, and I don't think the Bears really have that guy on this defensive line right now. And I think it's important to note that if your defensive line is applying pressure to the quarterback and filling the lanes in the run game, it makes life a lot easier on Tremaine Edmonds. It makes life a lot easier on Tyreek Stevenson. These other ifs will get better if you attack the defensive line aggressively in this draft and get some real playmakers on it. These other positions their jobs will get easier and then they will perform better. It's this cascading effect, but it starts up front with the front four. So I am all for adding a lot of depth and a lot of talent to this defensive line before I do anything else. I can live with my defensive secondary and I can live with my linebackers, even Tremaine Edmonds, as disappointing as the season was. I think the defensive line is where you have to continue to attack to make this defense really hard to play against, and I think you got to do that in this draft, man. I think that's the way I would be going if I were the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I agree. If you're into that, if these guys that we talked about earlier, man, these blue chippers are all off the board, and now you're in that kind of second tier of talent in this draft, which comes pretty early, guys. And I'm not saying that it's a giant drop off, but it comes early. I think after like 6 or 7 players, maybe 8, the blue chippers are really off the board. I think you got to go defense if that's what's left, and you have to remain at 10 if there's no trade back option available. I think you go defense. I do.
I just
I
think
sincerely.
I think Bears fans get caught up in, well, Caleb Williams is the first real quarterback the Bears have had in my lifetime. But first homegrown rookie to like a 10-year career. Like he's our Patrick Mahomes, we hope. And I think there's this big feeling in Chicago, like you just got to surround him with everything he needs. I want to get him all the weapons I can get him. I want to get him all the protection I can get him. And I think the head coach, the offensive coordinator, is going to make a big impact on him as well. The Bears have done a lot to address the offense and making life easier on Caleb Williams. You can't do it all in one offseason. And I just think that you can't neglect the defense. I see defense getting, and Shorty said it earlier, I want offense. If we win 38-35, I'm good. I don't, I'm not okay with that. I want to try to impact the defensive side of the ball too in this offseason a little more. And I hope they're going to do it in the draft. And you brought up blue chippers, man. And the Bears announced a couple top 30 visits today, and I want to see if anybody thinks this guy is a blue chipper. Omar Norman Lott was the three tech out of Tennessee, right? The defensive tackle. That's the top 30 for the
Sean did a
Bears.
really good piece on that. Check that
Yeah,
out,
he did.
guys.
Check it out on Facebook on our 4 stars page. But also, I mean, today while I was at work, I was very excited. We talked about this guy on Monday, Shamar Stewart, top 30 visit. This guy dominated the combine, has started to jump into the top 10 conversation. You see mocks where he's going at 10, but you also see mocks where he's going in the mid 20s. So, I mean, he's got a very wide range right now, but that's because of an extreme lack of production in college, Brandon. It's all about his testing. He dominated, dude. This guy here, let me just say 6'5, 267. He's Draft Buzz's number 3 ranked edge. He's my number 2. I put him right behind Carter, and I think he has potential to be better, but we'll get to that. 4.59 40 at 6'5, 267, Brandon. 94th percentile. 40-inch vertical, 98th percentile. His broad jump was in the 99th percentile. I don't want to get into centimeters, but he dominated the broad jump, dominated the 10-yard. This guy, that's what drew the comparisons to Myles Garrett, his athletic testing, and that's what's propelled him up the board. But that's concerning, right, Brandon? Because a guy who just jumps out at the combine but didn't have the production in college, you get wary of a guy like that. But when you look at his physical traits and his physical abilities, hard not to get enamored with this guy. He is a fucking stud. NFL Draft Buzz has his player comps as Trayvon Walker, Jermaine Johnson, Miles Murphy. Trayvon Walker is the only guy I would want him to be compared to on that list. I mean, the Jermaine Johnson, man, Miles Murphy's been a bust in the NFL. I don't know if is he still in the league. The thing about him is that he only had 1.5 sacks each season he was in college. 4.5 sacks total, man. The thing that you need to know is that of 315 pass rush snaps in college, he had 39 pressures. So he knows how to get after the quarterback. All right. He's got great bend and flexibility for his size. He moves like he's much smaller than his size, which is intriguing, right? Relentless motor. The issue is his production not matching his athletic profile, lacks consistent counter moves and technique on when he's pass rushing, relies way too heavily on his athleticism, struggles to convert pressures into sacks. But he's tailor made for an aggressive 4-3 system, which is what Dennis Allen will be running in Chicago. So he fits perfectly in that. He's a day one starter against the run. He's an awesome run defender, Brandon, which I know you love out of your defensive end position. A guy that can set the edge, stop the run. He will be able to do that right off the bat. The thing with the Garrett comp, man, is Garrett had 31 sacks at Texas A&M at College Station in his career. Again, Shamar Stewart, 4.5. So you're doing a lot of projecting here, right? You're doing a lot of going off of his physical traits. I really like Shamar Stewart, but there's a lot of risk involved with taking him in the top 10. What do you think, man?
Yeah, my biggest concern with Stewart is we talked earlier about the quarterbacks, and being drafted to, well, first off, let me say this, Dustin. I have this group of blue chip talent that we, me and you had chatted
Dante
about.
changed his answer to offense, Brandon. He
Yeah,
said defense
yeah,
originally.
Dante. Um, we have these guys that we've called blue chip again and again on these shows, and then if those guys are off the board, okay, and it's very realistic now. We're starting to see that the Bears might not have a trade back partner. They might have to take a player at 10. Shamar Stewart is at the top of my list of the blue chippers are gone, and you have to take a player at 10. But Kyle Williams, Shamar Stewart, these are two guys I'm very intrigued by.
Love
My
them
biggest
both.
concern with Stewart is this. We talked about the situation in which a player is drafted to. Guys, I love Dennis Allen. He's coached a lot of top 10 defenses in the NFL. One thing he doesn't do, he relies very heavily on his secondary, plays a lot of man, and he blitzes in about an
Brandon,
18
I'm sorry. I gotta piss so bad. You got this. Keep running it.
18% blitz rate is the highest he's ever had as a defensive coordinator in the NFL. So he's not crazy about the blitz. This guy runs a 4-3, and he's about getting pressure from the four players in front. My biggest concern for Shamar Stewart is if he is a developmental project, Dennis Allen does not have the accolades, the reputation of developing young guys into monster edge rushers. I believe Cam Jordan was already on the Saints when he took over the position of defensive coordinator. That was the most successful player on any of his defenses at getting after the quarterback. And I think the most sacks he had in a season was like 12 and a half, I believe. So Dennis Allen's not jumping off the pages to me when it comes to drafting a guy who could be good as the best mentor. Now, they did hire a lot of good coaches on this coaching staff, and some of these guys have had 30 plus years experience with coaching players and all these positions. And I did see that Dennis Allen sent all of the players on this defensive line to Florida. They were running a program in Florida working on their technique at getting after the quarterback. But when Dustin texted this to me, a video of it, and stating that the players were in the middle of doing this, my biggest concern, my response was, I'm not sure it's going to do any good. Dennis Allen hasn't really proven to be all that good at this. He
Was that
hasn't
Miami?
really,
Was that
yeah,
Miami?
Miami. Sorry, he hasn't. Yeah, you're right. It was Miami. He hasn't really
I know.
developed. He hasn't really developed pass rushers to the potential of being monster edge rushers. He hasn't done this. It's not in his reputation. That's my concern. Is are we talking about guys need to go to the right system? Is Shamar Stewart a much better player if he goes to a defensive coordinator that's able to provide the tools these guys need? I haven't seen that from Dennis Allen yet.
Listen, I think Shamar Stewart fits really well into the Dennis Allen scheme. I think that that's a
Well,
no-brainer.
he plays the position, the traditional 4-3 defensive end.
It was quick and it was heavy. A heavy stream the entire time, Shorty, man. It was insane. I almost blew a hole through the toilet. I had to piss so bad. But I appreciate the compliments. Last week he complimented me on my beard. This week he compliments me on my prostate. He's a gentleman and a scholar, Shorty. Shamar Stewart, I like him a lot, man. I think his physical traits translate really well to the NFL. I do have major concerns with his lack of production in college. I do think he fits very well in Dennis Allen's scheme, as I just said. I taking him at 10, it does kind of feel like a reach, given his complete lack of production. Given you don't know what he's going to be. He could either turn into a hell of a stud for your defense and a leader of your defensive line, or he could just be a guy that busts out completely. So it's like there's a big variance there with Shamar Stewart. As much as I like him, and as much as I would want to get my hands on him and get him on this defense, I feel more comfortable taking a Mikael Williams at 10 if I'm the Chicago Bears than I do Shamar Stewart. I'm happy they're bringing him in, and it's a good look because I do want them to address defensive end and defensive line in this draft. So I'm happy to see that Omar Norman Lott and Shamar Stewart are brought up. But I don't know that I advocate for them to take him at 10, even though I do think he could end up being his ceiling, Brandon, is the best defensive end in this draft. Better than Abdul Carter, better than Mike Green, better than Mikael Williams. His ceiling is there. He's a physical freak.
I was just going to say, and you're going to disagree with me here, but you know the hype. I feel about this guy. The same as we talk about Ashton Genty taking a 10, and no, I'd prefer Quinshon Judkins or Travion Henderson because you could still get the value in the second round. Landon Jackson is a guy that I feel is going to be one of the best edge rushers taken in this draft, and he's going to be available probably when the Bears select at 39. So I
You
don't know
remember, you remember before the combine, Shamar Stewart and Landon Jackson were in the same exact area in that second round. Shamar Stewart has shot up like crazy because of his
which is
physical
strange
testing.
because Landon Jackson
Landon
had a
Jackson tested.
phenomenal,
Landon Jackson tested
phenomenal.
very well as well,
Yeah,
but that's
and he
how
had a
good.
he
That's
had
how
a
good
six and a
Stewart
half
was.
season his last year in college, as opposed to the 1.5 sacks that Schmarst. Landon Jackson had way more sacks in college. He had 10 more sacks in his collegiate career.
Shorty, you had way more hair than me at age, what, 35. I started losing my hair very young. Genes, they work in mysterious ways, man. But it's
He
not a
capitalized
competition, man.
too. Yeah.
You're a sexy beast, man. Thanks for joining us as always. Yeah, last week we found out he's from the Round Lake area, which is where I live, so that was pretty cool. That's how little homework we do. We had a guest on for an hour and a half last week that we had no plan of having on at all when we started our show.
And it went really well.
It went really well. Yeah, it was great. But yeah, man, I'm excited that the Bears are doing their due diligence on these top 30s with the defensive line. I do like Shamar Stewart a lot. I don't think a trade back is going to happen for the Bears. I don't think they're going to find a partner, that's somebody that wants to move up. I hope they do. I don't. If I'm betting on the odds of it happening, I don't think it's very likely. But in a trade back
Yeah, you've kind
scenario,
of convinced me of that, Dustin. You were the
I
first
mean,
person to say to me, to bring to my attention that it's being reported the Bears aren't really, nobody's finding a trade back partner as far as anyone's concerned in this draft. So
yeah, and it just came out today, another report. I mean, there's just too much depth in this draft for teams to want to give up that draft capital. There's not a lot of difference between a guy at 39 and a guy at 25 in this draft. They're all right neck and neck. So the trade up partners are going to be hard to find, and there's not a lot of blue chip talent at the top of the draft, which we've known from the beginning. We've been talking about that for a
and
month and a half now, so 2 months.
and to put it in perspective, and I'm sure most of the guys in the chat, you guys all seem like you live and breathe football like we do. When you state that there's not a lot of trade back partners in the draft, it doesn't mean that there's not teams who want to trade up. It means that the draft is so deep, they're not willing to give you what you want in order to trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
because the guy that you're going to get at that pick that you already have is not going to be very far off from the guy that you're trading up to get. That's
right.
that's the
So
yeah.
basically, when Ryan takes a call from pick the Bengals at 17 and says, "I want your second rounders as well as the 17th pick for my 10th," he's going to get a whole lot of fuck offs, and that's basically like, we're good. There's plenty of talent left. We don't need to do
Yeah,
that.
Foster,
That's the
15 to
problem.
50, these guys could be neck and neck. Yes, that's really the point, Foster. And some other news that came out today, Abdul Carter, they're saying again, they're trying to reinforce this, that his injury is not an issue. Teams should not be concerned about it. Most teams are not, based on the report I saw. Abdul Carter is, by all accounts, a top 2 player in this draft and the best defensive end in this draft, and a guy the Bears could desperately use. We keep talking about the trade up scenarios. I think for the Bears to trade up, you got to see him fall to 4 at the very least, and
Yeah, you're not
probably
trading up 10 picks. Yeah.
you're not getting the number. Well, you're not getting up to number 1. You're not getting up to number 2. The Titans are going to take Cam Ward, and I don't think you're going to find a trade partner in the Browns. But the Browns are a team that needs picks. I would say that most Bears fans are not on that I've heard from, and tell me if I'm wrong, chat. Most Bears fans are not big fans of giving up draft capital to move up in this draft to get that guy. I would if the price was right. I would give up a second round pick and a second round next year and my number 10 to move up to number 3 or 4 to take.
I don't even think it would require that. If you're only moving up, let's say 4 or 5 spots, I think
I
you're
just
giving
said
up.
3 or 4, Brandon. So you're moving up 6 or 7 spots in my scenario, and that's where you're gonna have to go to get Abdul Carter, man.
I saw it was mocked. Which I agree. I
It
think
was
a third next year, the latter second this year, in your 10th pick.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking, I think. I guess it could be possible, but listen, you're going to have to give up a good amount to move up to get this guy. I just personally think it would be worth it. I think Abdul Carter is a
Yeah,
hell of
he's
a
the
player.
player. He's the
He's the
player
most
that any.
sure thing. He's the most
He's
sure
the
thing.
player that any one of those Travis Hunter and him are the players that any one of
Foster
those teams at the top of the draft order can use to strong arm somebody else. You don't
and
have those
teams.
quarterbacks.
Those are two guys
So
teams would trade up for. Yes.
yeah, those are the two guys that teams can try to get over on everybody else. If they're like, dangle up there and say, what are you going to do for this? Those are the
And
two
Poles
guys
is
that
a guy that makes trades in the first round. He makes trades throughout the draft, and I think it's a lot more likely than people realize that if the board falls a certain way and Abdul Carter is still there at 3 or 4, Poles is going to be making phone calls trying to see if he can get a
and I
trade.
think this,
I
Dustin, and a
believe
lot of
that. I
players,
really do.
a lot of fans are very hesitant to trade away the players on this team, and a lot of fans are reluctant to trade away the draft capital on this team. And I think it's got a lot to do with like this they're homers. Like, no, we drafted this guy, or this is going to be our pick. Guys, let me tell you this. If the Bears trade a third from next year, a second from this year, and their 10th pick for Abdul Carter, 4 weeks into the season, even if you're a person that's not a fan of this, 4 or 5 weeks into, give it 4 or 5 weeks into the season, you're gonna be like,
This was
I'm
well
so
worth it.
happy. I'm
This
so
was well
happy
worth
we traded for this guy. He is a monster. He's
I've
going
always
to be that dude.
Dude, I've always been of the mind state that if I have a chance at a player that can change the complete complexion of my team in one way or the other, it's worth giving up whatever I need to give up to get him. I've always been of that mind state. If I'm doing a season in Madden and I can get a hell of a player for 3 of my picks, okay, fine. And then once one of my older players starts aging out, I can flip them for a draft pick later on. And obviously, it's a lot easier said than done in Madden. But I'm just saying, like, I don't value those picks as highly as I value a known commodity. I don't. I mean, and if you can combine that known commodity with high upside, like you can with Abdul Carter, to me, it's worth it to find out what it will take to move up to get a guy like that, because we obviously don't feel comfortable or confident in who the defensive end we'd be taking at 10. You're doing major projection. You don't have to do that with Abdul Carter. His first year at defensive end, 12 and a half sacks. This guy made the transition seamlessly, and he's a physical freak as well, dude. I think it's a
Well,
no-brainer.
like, this is a baseball stat, but like, think about at 162 game season, they say that a player with like a wins above replacement of 9 games is huge to your season, because that could be the
Mhm.
difference in making the playoffs. If this guy's wins above replacement is 1 game, Abdul
Two,
Carter,
yeah,
in
yeah.
an 18 game in a 17 game season, that's tremendously impactful. It's
I don't know that
tremendous.
I don't know that
Yeah,
math
no, it
works in the
doesn't.
NFL, Brandon.
But but just think about it. If this guy makes a play to finish a game, he knocks the ball from a quarterback on the final. Let's say he's there. Let's say you have an Abdul Carter against Jaden Daniels on the final play of the Commanders game, and instead of Jaden Daniels getting 8.5 seconds to run around and throw a Hail Mary, this guy just swallows him up. Like, I'm pretty sure you're going to be like, man, I'm so glad we got this Abdul Carter guy. You know what I mean? Because Montez Sweat wasn't there. But
If Carter were to fall to 4, like Foster says he did in that 32-man mock he did, that is a Poles is going to be working his ass off to make that move. Don't be surprised, Bears fans, if Poles has his eyes on Carter in a certain situation. If Carter's going number 2, I don't think Poles is entertaining it. I really don't. But if he falls to 3, if he falls to 4, Poles starts seeing, well, my math can work here. He's a guy that sets boundaries for himself. He's like, well, if the price becomes this, I can do it. But if it goes over this, I'm not in on it. I think there's a certain price for Abdul Carter in terms of a trade
and
up where Poles will entertain it greatly and work
and
his ass off to make it happen. I believe
and
that.
the thing that I respect about him the most, man, is he's been wrong for sure. He's been wrong about trades like Chase Claypool, obviously. The thing in Ryan Bates, the thing I respect about him though, is he's very disciplined and where he sets that no limit that you just talked about. This and like the
Yep.
if it gets to here, I'm not doing it. He doesn't bend on that. If he's like, once it's past this point,
Mm-hmm.
no second guess, nothing. It's just a hard no. I'm not
No,
changing
yeah,
my
he
mind.
He knows where
He's
where he
disciplined.
values a certain guy or a certain pick or whatever, and he sticks to that vehemently. And I mean, it's produced some good results for him, and like you said, it's produced some negative ones
Yeah,
as well.
and
But
it lets the rest of the GMs in the league know this guy's not desperate. We're not going to be able to
Shorty's
call polls and get over on him. You know what I mean?
Shorty's doing a mock where he says he took Warren, Henderson, and Scatterbill with his first 3 picks. We're gonna do some mocks, and we're gonna go a little defense focus
Shorty,
here because
you
we
took those 3 players in every mock you've done.
yeah, that's all he does. I mean, and Dante says Abdul Carter wouldn't do shite without Sweat on the other side. I mean, and vice versa. Sweat didn't do anything last year with nobody on the other side of him. I mean, it's a team game. And I think I saw you say earlier, Dante, that the sum of the parts, some of the whole unit should be greater than its parts, right? So I mean, like
Well, and regardless
you
of that,
need
Dante,
one
I'm
impacts
sorry,
the other and vice versa.
I disagree with you 100%. I think Abdul Carter is that guy who does something without a guy on the other side. That's
And
what
yeah,
I think.
that's your hope. You hope he's a TJ Watt type of guy, right?
Yeah, I
You
think
hope
he's the
that
guy
that's
that
what he
I
turns
think he's
into.
the guy that. And by the way, Dante, that's who Sweat's paid to be. The guy who does it without somebody on the other side. Sweat is paid to be
Like he
that
is
guy.
that guy. He's a top
Yes.
5 paid defensive end in the NFL. If you look at the guys on that list with him, they all do that.
Miles Garrett, TJ Watt, yeah, those are he is
Bosa,
paid he's paid to be the guy who's wreaking havoc without the multiplier on the other side. He is the multiplier. And I think Abdul Carter, man, and you can respectfully disagree, but I think Abdul Carter, why we're saying we would trade picks to get this guy is because
because
I
his
think he
talent might
is
make
him.
actually, yeah, his talent might actually make Sweat worth his fucking contract.
Yeah,
like,
I
like
think Abdul Carter
he'll
becomes the
bring up the
best
play.
player on your defense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
why
think
he would
Jay,
be worth trading up for it in our
yeah.
minds. And again, we could be wrong. And listen, Montez Sweat had his worst season last year. He had the nagging injury, as Foster pointed out. So give him some grace, and I will. But at the same time, he's supposed to be that guy for this defense already, and he hasn't been. And that's a huge flaw in your defense. If your highest paid guy is not performing at that level, that sets you back way worse than if TJ Edwards is not performing to that level. You know what I'm saying? Like TJ
Yeah,
Edwards
and
is an $8 million a year guy.
the reality is when you're paying somebody like when you're paying the amount that you gave a guy like $98 million, like you give to Montez Sweat, you're paying him not. It doesn't matter if the attention is taken from him because of the guy on the other side. You're paying Montez Sweat to consistently beat the guy across from him all day. That's what you're. Miles Garrett beats the guy across from him. He beats and then people are like, well, Montez Sweat gets chipped by the running back too. He gets helped. Miles Garrett beats that, right, Dustin? When
Yeah,
Miles
yeah.
Garrett gets chipped by a running back while also being defended by a tackle, he takes them both on and he still gets to the quarterback. And that's why he's paid an astronomical amount of
And if
money.
he doesn't, that attention is causing someone else to have an easier time to get to the quarterback. So I mean, that's what you're really hoping for. And Dante says defensive ends are not edge rushers. Difference between Miles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson. I mean, your best defensive ends, the ones in the NFL that get paid like Bosa and Garrett, those guys are edge rushers. They are rushers of the quarterback, and they set the edge against the run. And that's what you want and need from that guy.
Yeah,
That's what that
I would consider. I don't know. I'm sure he's done,
Well, this
and
was a
I'm sure
lot
you're.
closer until until Garrett just got his extension, Dante. This number was a lot closer. Miles Garrett was at what 21 million, and Sweat was a higher paid player than him just as recently as this past season. The value didn't equate in terms of what you're paying versus the production you're getting. I I,
Montez Sweat
I don't know
is
how
the
you make the
fourth.
argument that it was. I don't,
He's the
you
fourth
can't.
highest paid. He's the fourth highest paid. I don't know what you're trying to say. They're all edge rushers to me. Every one of them.
They need to be if you're paying
Yeah.
them 25 million a year. You should
Defensive
set the edge
ends
against the
are
run,
edge
and you
rushers.
should get after the quarterback.
Yeah,
And
their
Montez
job
Sweat
is
just
to
did.
rush the pass on the edge.
I would say that Montez Sweat would be the first person to say he did not play up to his true level of what he should be playing at. I would think I don't think Montez Sweat needs us to defend him. I think he should be holding himself to a higher standard as well in terms of his production. And I would hope he's the first guy to hold himself to that standard instead of me, because I don't mean shit.
Well, it's not,
Montez
yeah,
Sweat needs
Dante,
to perform better. He does.
it's not like either one of us dislikes Montez Sweat. He's just paid an awful lot of money. He's
And
the
when he
fourth
doesn't live up
highest
to that,
paid yeah,
it has a
he
negative
needs,
effect on your defense, your entire
yes.
unit. It
Well,
has a
and
very
you
negative
have
effect.
the right to hold him to a higher standard based on the finances, right? I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that DeMarcus Walker should have been a top 5 guy in the league in regards to sacks, because he's just not. He wasn't paid that way. You know what I mean? The expectation for DeMarcus Walker was so far less because he wasn't paid to be that guy. And when DeMarcus Walker got any production at all, you were happy to see it because he was a cheap player.
Okay, and now Dante says, look at Myles Garrett's sack numbers. Let's go from 2017 as a rookie, 7, 2018, 13 and a half, 2019, 10, 2020, 12, 2021, 16, 2022, 16, 2023, 14, 2024, 14. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
He's
years in a row with double-digit sacks. Montez Sweat has had double-digit sacks in a season one time in his entire career. I don't need to look those up, Dante. You want to tell me
well,
Montez Sweat sacks per
and
season?
and
The market is the market.
Myles Garrett was also, if this puts anything in
Yeah,
perspective,
sure.
man, Myles Garrett is tied with Lawrence Taylor for the quickest player to 100 sacks. They both hold the 4th position in that race.
Montez Sweat has one
Miles
season with
Garrett
double-digit sacks.
Miles
One
Garrett is
season.
tied with Lawrence Taylor. I mean, that's one of the best. That guy basically reinvented pass rushing. So Miles Garrett is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Montez Sweat is nowhere near that conversation, as far as
And
I'm concerned.
I gotta
In my
say this:
opinion,
when you say the market is the market was only set and created by Ryan Poles when he traded a second round pick for Montez Sweat when he was about to be a free agent. You could have had him on the market, and then the market would have been the market. But when you trade a second round pick for a guy, that you need to now pay him, and Montez Sweat and his representation knew that they had the Bears over a barrel from the moment they traded for him, and he got overpaid for his production. He 100%
yeah,
did.
you weren't going to trade a second round
You
pick for a
didn't
rental.
let the market be the market with Montez Sweat. You created and set the market and forced yourself to overpay. That was a
This is why
mistake in my.
this is why Kyle Tucker didn't sign a contract with the Cubs right away. He's got him by the balls, right? I mean, they traded their best prospect to get Kyle Tucker. He's exploding right now, and he knows he's going to get whatever he asked for out of the Cubs because they spent capital to get him, and that's unfortunately that's the position Ryan Poles put himself in when he decided to trade to acquire Montez Sweat, and he probably knew he was. He probably knew he was going to be in that position. It wasn't news to him that he was going to have to overpay Montez Sweat.
Listen, man.
But
Again,
Montez
not to
Sweat,
knock Montez Sweat. Like Montez Sweat is a Chicago Bear, and I want him to
and
perform
he's
well. But when he is
yeah,
not, he should be held accountable to that because he is the highest paid player on this defense, and he has not lived up to that. And again, the Bears did put themselves in the position where they had to overpay him because of the way they acquired him. So that was it could have been considered a good move. I didn't think it was when they made it, to be honest.
and
And
Dante,
I think it's biting them in the ass a little bit.
you missed the show earlier where we talked about the PFF grades of all the players on the defensive line. I did state that I do firmly believe Montez Sweat will improve this upcoming season with a much better
Montez
coaching
Sweat,
staff.
here, just to throw it out there, Montez, we just read off the Myles Garrett, 7 seasons in a row with double-digit sacks, 16, 16, 14. Montez Sweat, 7, 9, 5, 8, 6.5, 6, 5.5. Sorry, he does not have a season with a double-digit. I thought he
I
had
was going to
one
say
with
when
double-digit
you said that,
sacks.
Dustin, I was
Oh, no,
going to
yeah, he
say I don't
does.
think.
No, sorry, he did have the one where he split it. The way they lay out the statistics, he
Oh,
had
it's
12
12
and
and
a
a
half.
half.
And
Yeah.
23, yeah, because that was the 6 and the 6.5. That is the one double-digit season. That's what I thought. but 5.5 this past season. His next highest is 9 in 2020. He hasn't been that guy, and the Bears desperately need him to be based on the way that they've paid him. You're in a deficiency if he's not. Your whole unit is in a deficiency if he's not.
And if
And
you're
Foster
thinking,
says
man,
his contract is okay-ish. Look at who's getting paid what. Next year will probably be a reasonable contract, and Poles knows that. I mean, by next year, I mean, how much more of that contract are you worried about
I
paying
think
him?
if you
It's
asked
coming
10
out.
NFL executives, is Montez Sweat overpaid? 10 of them are going to say yes. Right? That's what I
Listen,
like.
I
In
didn't plan
regards
on.
to the guys who look at this as a business, they're going to say you spent too much money there. That's what I believe. I think they're going to say Jalen Johnson is not paid enough. So,
Uh,
that's fine. It's
Again, I don't know that it's okay to pay a guy that much for the production that you've gotten from him thus far. I hope he performs better this season. We
I
need
think we
him
all
to.
do, yeah.
The Bears need him
Yeah.
to. But
And I think he's capable of doing so for sure.
Yeah, Dio is a market contract. That was going to be the going rate for a guy like him in that market. The Bears had to overpay a little bit to get him for sure, and hopefully he performs this season. But again, that's kind of the point. There's a lot of hopefullys. There's a lot of ifs. That's why I still want to continue to address the defense, and that's why we're going to do a mock draft where we do just that. Brandon, we wanted to get into that, and Dante, I want to make clear like we appreciate the conversation. I know I got a little heated there, but
Oh no,
Miles
we
Garrett.
love this, Dante.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% love it. Miles, I don't think Miles Garrett and Montez Sweat can even be compared, and I think the numbers bear that out. But at the end of the day, we are Bears fans, and we want Montez Sweat to perform, and I think Montez Sweat should want that for
I'm
himself more
praying
than
Montez
anybody.
Sweat comes out and gets 24 sacks next year.
That would be fucking
That's my
amazing.
hope for Montez Sweat,
Hopefully,
and
these
I eat
new
my words.
listen. Moving on to this mock draft, we want to do at least one or two where we kind of address this defense a little bit and see what we got defensive end wise, especially on that edge rush, to put someone opposite of Montez Sweat and make his life a little easier. And you were comparing Garrett to Hendrickson, I know, but we were talking about Montez Sweat, and there needs to be more production from that position based on what you're paying them, because those guys are in that same realm, and they
Well,
are multipliers, like Brandon says.
and if this is any kind of testament, I've brought up my disappointment in Jervon Dexter and my comparison to Jalen Carter, and I was told, well, Carter's got a bunch of all-pro players around him. He's playing on a quality line, top to bottom. He's got good guys on the right, good guys on the left. And every time somebody says that to me about Jervon Dexter, I say, isn't Montez Sweat supposed to be that? And I think that's basically a Bears fan telling me like Jalen Carter doesn't have that guy next to him because he's got
Can you
Montez
guys
Sweat
see
over
me?
there.
Can you see me on here, Brandon?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, let's go ahead and start up this mock draft and see how we do. Hey, Foster, jump on here, man. He'd love to come on with us on a Thursday night. Let's get it done, man. No, we'd love to have Foster Shorty. Be nice. All right, we're gonna start this draft. We're gonna see what we can do for this defense, because everybody wants offense, but me and Brandon want a little defense. Let's see how we can address that in this upcoming draft, starting with the 10th pick. Do you want to try to trade up to number 1 so we can get Abdul Carter? No, fuck it. Let's go. All right. So just to put it out here, Travis Hunter went number 1, Mason Graham number 2. Wow, Abdul Carter 3, Ted
That's how it should
McMillan.
go.
That I agree. The quarterbacks, Cam Ward doesn't go till 7 to the Jets. Ted McMillan 4, Armand Membu 5, Tyler Warren to the Raiders at 6. That makes total sense with them already having Brock Bowers. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
that'd be frightening. That'd be
Ashton
frightening.
Genty 8. All right, so we're looking at impacting our defense. Do you want to look at trades, or you want to just go with our 10?
Oh, let's just pick a 10, man. Let's say the Bears can't find a trade partner in this draft on the 24th. Let's see who we would take if we're kind of forced to pick at 10.
I mean, we got Mike Green here at edge, Donovan Azaraku, James Pierce, who I know you like. I like him too, but I just don't know if he fits the defensive scheme that we're going
Yeah,
to
I
be
think he's going to
running.
be a really quality football player, but on a
Yeah,
different team.
He kind of reminds me of Chop Robinson last year, that defensive end that's kind of being forgotten about in the fall a little bit. I mean, Chop Robinson was a top 10 pick, at one point in that college season last year, and then ended up falling to the 20s. And I think the Dolphins got a steal in him. I think Pierce is going to be a steal for somebody. Mikel
I
Williams,
just like, to me, it's very hard to me,
make
Dustin.
sure you
When
stay focused on the chat, all right, Brando? I can't see shit. So
yeah, I got you. I I think he's a player that needs to stand up. I don't like his hand in the dirt.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
James. I think that's the way he's most impactful in getting that burst that he needs to get to the quarterback.
And Mike Green, I'm coming around on a little bit as a situational pass rusher, and I love his potential, but I also don't think he's even going to be on the Bears board given all the character concerns going around with him right now. So I think for us right now, man, if we're taking an edge at 10 and we're not going to do a trade back, which I kind of want to do, but whatever, Mikel Williams and Shamar Stewart are our options.
You know who I
And
like more?
I like both of them an awful lot, but I would love Mikel Williams at 10, so that's where we're gonna go. All right. We're gonna focus
They're
heavy on
both on
defense.
they're both on the thumbnail.
And then I can also just throw this out here. We could focus on defense with Jahad Campbell, who I would love at 10 as well. And then go
Hey,
edge
Dustin,
rusher.
I'm being honest, I would take Jahad Campbell over both those players.
Yes, I would too, but we want to we had the edges on the thumbnail, so let's go with that. Um
Yeah, let's
no,
say
fuck
Campbell's
no,
gone
fuck it.
because he probably will be.
No. Let's go Jahad Campbell. We're gonna fix our defense.
Jahad Campbell's a quality pass rusher, man. He had 6.5
He,
sacks or 5.5 sacks this last season in college.
he's a great
From a
blitzer.
linebacker standpoint,
And he
he's.
played some edge at Alabama. We're drafting Jahad Campbell. Fuck it. PFF is gonna
But you did
roast us for
impact
that
your
one.
defense. You
Yes,
greatly improved your defense.
yes, 100%. Now we can
Matter of
look at
fact,
our.
guys. Matter of fact, guys. How happy would you guys in the chat? How happy would you see? Would you be to see the Bears take the best middle linebacker in
In
this
the
draft?
draft,
And
and
honestly,
he's
I
gonna be
think
a.
one of the best middle linebackers in the last few draft classes. To be
I
honest.
think he's gonna be one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL pretty early on in his career, Brandon.
Yeah.
Again, I compare this guy. I see Patrick Willis when I see him play football, man. That's what I see.
The pedigree of this position in this organization, Tremaine Edmonds just ain't doing it, man. He's just even at Tremaine Edmonds' best, his seasons in Buffalo didn't compare to the production you've gotten out of this position in the Chicago
Okay.
Bears
So Jahad
organization.
Campbell, the Bears have their linebacker situation set, right? They got their starters, but Jahad Campbell's too good to pass up on, and he's going to find a role on this team early on. Now, are we going edge, Brandon?
Yes,
That's Landon Jackson, right? There's no real
yes,
conversation about that. We can
yes,
go Landon
sir.
Jackson. All right, now we're at 41.
Let's look at
Do we
tackles.
want defensive?
Yeah,
Omar Norman Lott. I mean, we would be reaching at this point for a defensive tackle, my man. We could look at
yeah.
safety.
Let's not do that. I want to see who was if somebody slid through the cracks, but no, let's not. Let's not reach.
Xavier Watts is still right there, man. Xavier Watts and Maxwell Hairston. We just talked about how we think cornerback is a much bigger need than Bears fans are giving it credit for. Maxwell Hairston is going to be a fucking stud in the NFL, and so is Xavier Watts. I'd be good with taking either one of those two. What do you think?
I like Watts, and I'm going to say this, Dustin. If you take Watts right here, and this is what the Bears do in their actual draft. Like I said, guys, I think your offense is like a 10 to 15 ranked unit right now. These three picks make your defense
A lot better,
10 spots
very quickly.
10 spots higher than they were ranked
That
yesterday.
might be a bit of an exaggeration, Brandon. That might be a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah,
I
let's
don't
go
know,
Xavier
man.
Watts. We said we wanted to focus
Campbell
on
alone
defense.
is a machine.
Okay, now we can look at our running back, maybe. Oh my God, Andrew Makuba. We could get both of our safe. Quinshon Judkins is right there, bro.
Let's go. Let's get a running back as well.
Yep,
Is
and then we can.
Connery's gone.
Yeah, but Ariante Ursary is right there. You get your left tackle. It's running back or left tackle. I think, man, based on what Poles is saying, the Bears are going to feel pretty good about going into the season with Jones and Karan as their left tackles and finding out who's going to be the starter based on a competition there. I don't know if that makes sense, and I really hope the Bears draft the
Well,
left tackle in this draft and possibly with that 10th pick. But if you're going a defense heavy to start, I think
Well,
just
what I
rolling
was
with
just going to
Quinton
say
Judkins
is,
right here makes a lot of sense.
what I was just going to say is, I don't think Poles is stating he's not going to draft a left tackle. I think he's not going to do it at 10. I think
Well,
that's
but
what I
Kyle made a
got.
good point. Kyle made a good point regarding that, Brandon. It becomes like, well, then you're just going to have a bunch of average guys competing at left tackle, which is the most important position on your offensive line. Like, eventually, you
But
got to invest some real
I never
assets
really got a
into that
chance.
position.
I never really got a chance to say this to Kyle. Sean just texted us the report from yesterday morning that says almost every NFL GM sees Calvin Banks and Will
as
Campbell
as guards.
not playing left tackle. Yeah.
Yeah,
So how
that becomes the
curious.
problem in
How
this draft too.
so?
Poles
And you've
Poles
said,
was
well,
thinking
here,
that, Brandon.
hold on.
You're
You've
100% right.
said that you think Connerly might be the best left tackle in this draft, Dustin, and I don't disagree with you because he is by all fucking measures, without a doubt, a left
A left
tackle in the
tackle.
NFL. He is
I
not
think
moving to guard.
it might come down to him and Simmons. And the reality is Poles might not like either one of those guys as much as we like them. Poles might be looking at this draft and saying there is no left tackle that I want in this draft. That's a huge possibility that no one's really entertaining when it comes to this conversation. Poles might be saying, I don't want a left tackle out of this draft. I've evaluated it and I'm not a fan. That could
What
very well be the case.
and I don't want to stray too far off the beaten path because he's not even on the board here. But guys, I do want
But
to say this.
we've
I
done it.
keep saying this. I don't know how much merit it has to it, but I don't know the trend in this. Like 22 NFL GMs out of 32 have scheduled a top 30 visit with Josh Connerly. That is more than Campbell and Banks. There's a reason for this.
Foster's
NFL
making
GMs.
fish and Mastacholi. Brandon, you're doing an awful job controlling the chat, man. I
Dude, the
just want to
chat's
say,
not. I've got nothing. The one that's displayed is the last one I'm seeing right now. I'm
uh,
being honest. I'm being honest. That's all. That's the last chat that I have right now on my board.
you
But
suck, dude.
I'm in a
Foster's
hotel,
making
man.
fish. Foster's making fit. Yeah, your Wi-Fi sucks. You look like
Yeah,
you're
it's
dealing with hotel Wi-Fi for sure because you're
yeah.
grainy as shit. But yeah, it's not working out. Sorry guys, Brandon's Wi-Fi sucks, so the chat's getting neglected a little bit. We're gonna go with Quinshawn Judkins right here, right?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah. Foster is making fish and mastacholi at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's amazing. And Shorty left us. You didn't even say bye to Shorty, man. All right. So far, we've got Jihad Campbell, Landon Jackson, Xavier Watts, and Quinshawn Judkins. I really like that. I really like that a
I think
lot.
this draft should be graded very well so far.
Well, we took the linebacker, so we don't need that. Do you want to look at defensive tackle now?
There's three positions I would actually like to look, like interior offensive line, tight end, and wide receiver. That's what I want to look at.
Well, Ty Robinson is still there at defensive tackle. Food for thought. Wide receiver, we're looking at Ty Felton, Konata Mumpfield. That sounds made up. Jalen Lane, Samuel Brown.
Let's not go wide receiver, man.
Dude, Dante Thornton Jr. I will say right now that I don't know about in the 5th round, but the Bears don't really have a 6th round pick, and he's going to be gone before the 7th. I really like Dante Thornton. Sneaky upside for that guy. And he's a fucking burner, and he's huge. All right, inside offensive line, Luke Kandra. That's your best option there. Dylan Fairchild out of Georgia. I like him. Miles Frazier. Okay, there's some decent stuff here, but I mean, again, you're kind of reaching. I don't really like. If we're looking at best players available, Brashard Smith, who the Bears had a top 30 with. Dylan Gabriel, who I don't think about. Jordan Hancock, safety. We already took that. Jack Kaiser, linebacker. We already took that. Robert Longerbeam, cornerback out of Rutgers. No idea about him. I'll just be honest.
Let's go with the top 30.
Oh no. What, we're gonna go with Brashard Smith?
Oh no, we already took Judkins. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't make sense. I mean, we're kind of in a rock and a hard place here. Did you just choke on a pubic hair, Brandon? I can't see you, but that sounded like you choked on a pubic hair. All right, you're being quiet now. Did you die? What's going on over here?
No,
Oh,
man.
there he is.
I can't see this, man. I can't see this. So you gotta select for us here, man.
Okay, well, this is kind of rough, man. This is a rough pick to make, so we're gonna have to make one. I'm curious. I like the idea of a cornerback, Antoine Powell Ryland, the edge out of Virginia Tech. I just don't see anything I'm super interested in. I like Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. Um, and Luke Kandra could be a good. I mean, if you want to go inside offensive lineman, we'll go Luke Kandra out of Cincinnati. I mean, what do you think of that?
Sure.
Oh, that sounds like a ringing
Luke
endorsement.
Kandra. I don't know who it is, but if you like him, I'm sure you've done your homework. Let's do it.
I mean, he's all right. I don't feel great about it. Malachi Moore. I like Malachi Moore an awful lot, man.
We already went Watts though.
Yeah, I know. All right. So you want to address the inside offensive line?
Sure.
All right, let's do it, Kendra. It's a bit of a reach. Bit of a reach, brother. Okay. Miles Frazier is still there, the guard. Mm, not a lot going on here, man. What do you want to address? It's pick 233, so like it is what it is. You know what? I'm just
Tight
gonna
end.
no,
Let's
I'm gonna
use
take
tight end.
no, I'm gonna take this cornerback, Frazier out of UTSA. Going cornerback.
UTSA. What is UTSA?
University of Texas San Antonio, I believe. Tight end, we're looking at Orande Gadsden, Moliki. Yeah, there ain't nothing there, but nothing there. I don't know who these people are. Okay, we can go Cam Horsley, defensive tackle.
Sure.
Uh, 6'4", 306. Looks like a three tech. Solid player.
Yeah, a lot of green there.
A lot of green there. That's some good draft analysis. Cam Horsley, we're going with him.
I'm at the horse fair, so it only makes sense.
We earned one new award. We drafted Jahad Campbell. They think we should have drafted Jade Barron. I like Jade Barron a lot. The Jahad Campbell grade got us a B. Landon Jackson A minus. Xavier Watts A minus. Quinshawn got us an A. Kendra got us a C. Frazier a C plus. This is a B plus. Top 39% of Chicago Bears drafts. Not so bad.
What
All right,
was
you're
the
saying
last pick? What was the grade on the last pick?
it's an A minus. The Cam Horsley, the defensive tackle. I mean, it was a value pick for where he got picked at. I mean, I don't. You feel like we addressed our defense pretty well there?
I do.
Oh,
I
what
think
up,
they're.
Trax?
I think we absolutely did.
Mo Lester's in here as well. Thanks, Mo Lester, for joining us. Hit that like button with all your accounts, Foster. And Trax checked in on us. I don't know. It's been a while since we had a Trax sighting this late on a Thursday. But thanks for
What's up,
joining us.
Trax?
All right, you saying you got to get off? You can't do another one?
Yeah, no, I got in a hotel here. Gotta go sleep.
Dante says it's a great mock. I appreciate that. I like Jihad Campbell, Landon Jackson, Xavier Watson, Judkins. Those first four picks, without doing any trade backs, if we pulled out those first four, that kind of nails your draft right there. Like whatever you do after that is kind of just gravy, I think. But thanks for the compliment, Dante. Listen, at the end of the day, I wanted to do a little bit more of these, but Brandon's got to get out of here. At the end of the day, I think you know what? I might just do one more without you, Brandon, if you don't mind. But at the end of the day, I think the defense is something that needs to be addressed in this draft. I think we did that very well with those first three picks, Brando, and I think Bears fans would be excited if that's what the Bears were able to come away with those first three picks. The offense is gonna have need some time to gel and get its shit together. The defense is gonna have to carry them through some games for sure. It's not just gonna be outscoring everybody. I want to see a winning football team, and I think you need to address your defense to be able to do that in this season. That's what I
Well,
think.
yeah, and you got a monster middle line, a blue chip talent. You got an edge rusher who I think is immediately your starter on day one across from Montez Sweat, and you got Brisker's replacement, barring an injury.
Yeah, for sure. Or I mean, fill in for Kevin Byard after next year if both those guys stay healthy. I mean,
And you still got your running back, man.
yeah, man. Quinshon Judkins at 72 would be a freaking steal, dude. I would love to see the Bears get him in the third round. I would be very happy with that because he will be your power running back to complement Swift to start out that first season, right? And then turn into your every down back pretty quickly on after that first season. So Foster said he would hop on. Foster, send me your email. We'll do one mock together, brother, and then I'm gonna have to get out of here as well. It is getting late. Let's see here.
Yeah, Sharon, I'm in a hotel room with
Yeah,
the
no, I
wife.
get it, man. You gotta go. It's cool. It's cool.
She's. I just woke her up actually here 2 in the morning,
Okay.
whatever it is right now. So
Hey, man, it's all good. You want to pop out of here, Foster? Let me get your email. I'll send you one. I'll do one more mock with you, and then I'll get out of here.
do it to it, man. I will definitely watch it tomorrow.
This has been the bare minimum, and now it's gonna be me and Foster doing a mock if he sends me his email. I
So
don't
Foster, I said, well, what up, Foster? But yeah, man, always a pleasure, Dustin. Thanks everybody in the chat, Dante, Foster, Shorty,
oh,
Bruce, Aunt Mess. Thanks everybody for showing up so late. And we will be back. We'll watch the North Side 9. Well, Dustin, you'll get through all this.
yeah. I'm gonna do one more mock, Brandon.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Thanks. Good job.
Thank you, sir. All right, have a
All
good
right.
night, man. Bear down.
Yeah, man. You too. Yo. I don't understand. I need the randomness to go away because, like, I don't want that. All right, guys, bear with me. I'm gonna do one more. I can't see y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and just try to do a trade back here and see what I can do to add a little more depth to this team and focus heavy on defense. And after I do this one, I'm gonna get on out of here. Let's see. All right. It looks like the exact same group went all the first 9 picks ahead of us. I got 25 potential trades here. Let's see. If I can move back with the Colts, what would they give me? I give them 10. They give me 14. Nope, they don't want to give me 45. They'll give me 80, 117. I'm moving back 4 spots, and I'm getting that. Let me see here. Let's try the Dolphins. We only got to move back. Would you give me 48? You would not, but you don't got nothing. All right. See what I can make work here. Give me 16. 47. Would you do it? All right. Move back 6 spots. I got another second round pick. I'm good with that. I'm going to keep going. All right. So at this point, my best available are Luther Burden, Kenneth Grant, Josh Simmons, Egbuka, Kelvin Banks, Golden, Walter Nolan. I think the chat might like Kenneth Grant. Dante, what up, man? Thanks for being here. You guys want Kenneth Grant here with this pick? I got I traded back from 10 to 16 with the Cardinals. I got an extra second round pick out of it. Or what if I could get another trade out of this? I'm gonna be like Kramer riding on E, just trying to see how many trades I can get. So Seattle, I'd be moving back 2 more spots. Maybe I can get a little something out of them. Let's see. There's no chance they're gonna give me that, but they would give me an 82. That'll put me what in the third round. Move back 2 more spots. Fuck it. This is Poles maneuvering the board like a fucking wizard, guys. I would love to see Poles do that. And Grant went. That's who Seattle wanted to trade up for. I'm sorry, Foster. I got a little trade back happy there. What if I do one more? Yeah, I can go for one more trade back. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's see how much extra draft capital I can add here. Let's see what we got. Denver at 20, and they give me 85, I bet. Let's see. Hell yeah. Just stacking up picks here, y'all. I got 20, 39, 41, 47, 72, 82. It's too many to list. Kelvin Banks, Walter Nolan. This is a really good spot to take Walter Nolan. I like Walter Nolan a lot. Seattle head coach was the defensive coordinator for University of Michigan. Yeah, that's why it jumped up there, right? Ryan Poles, he's got goals. He's filling the holes. That's what he said. Tyleek would be a good one too, but I like Walter Nolan a little better, man. I could probably get another trade in here and still get Walter Nolan. And if not, I still got Mikel Williams and Shamar Stewart sitting there. I mean, fuck it. I can get 22 and 86 from the Chargers. I mean, well, hey, no, you're not gonna give me 55, but I'll take that. Move back 2 more spots. Get another extra middle round pick, and Walter Nolan is still there. Should I cut it out now, guys, or should I keep going for the trade backs? Walter Nolan with issues on and off the field, so he's not going to be a Bear. I mean, it hasn't. I haven't read much on that. Foster, if you got any extra information, I'll take it. I could go Mikel Williams at 22. This would be a dream scenario, honestly. What about Mikel Williams here, guys? Do I keep trading back or do I go with Mikel Williams? I got a lot of picks to make here, so give me your answers quick. I want a little feedback. Foster, what do you think? Go Mikel Williams here? Or should I keep trading back? And Fioris, what do you think? Anybody? Dante, you with me? I see you like Tyleek Williams. I like him a lot too, so out of Ohio State. We could keep trading back. Let's see what we got. You guys aren't giving me answers, so I don't want anything. Let's see. Houston, what do you got for me? Would you give me 25 and 79 for my 22? I don't think you will. What about 89 for my 22? That's accepted. Very good. All right. Now I'm going to make my pick on this next one. I think I've added enough. Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan both went, and so did Mikel Williams. So all of my guys that I was eyeballing in those 3 picks went. Oh, man. All right. So it's Derek Harmon or it's Jalon Walker. You guys aren't giving me information, so it's too late. He said, grab Williams. Mikel's fine. Williams, you guys, I'm sorry, guys. You guys were taking too long to give me the answer. So now I'm choosing between Jalon Walker, who, by a lot of people's accounts, you think Colston Loveland? Go Colston Loveland here? Okay, are we going to go Omarion Hampton? Walker? Yeah, let's go Walker. I like that. I think this would be a steal for him at this point. Give Dennis Allen a Swiss Army knife. Fuck it, let's do it. I mean, at this point, I'm not taking Jalon Walker at 10, but I'll take him at 25. Let's do it. We finally made our first round pick, and now we are back on the clock. Tyleek Williams is right there. We got Jalon Walker. I keep flipping back and forth, Foster. I do see you. All right, so we went Jalon Walker. I can go Tyleek Williams. I can go Xavier Watts. Jaden Higgins, get that receiver. Landon Jackson is there as well. All right, Foster, I got you. I'll check out I'll get your email. You know what? Dante threw out Tyleek Williams earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And get our 3 tech. Jaden Higgins went 40, and now I could still go Xavier Watts here. I don't understand how they have Kevin Winston ranked ahead of Xavier Watts. That doesn't make much sense to me. I really like the idea of and it's all the best players available are defense, guys. Like, it's all defense right now. I like the idea of getting Maxwell Harrison here. What do you guys think of that? Siobhan Revel, you like Siobhan Revel over Harrison? Let's see here. You like and Amphiorus likes Landon Jackson. Let's see here. I think Hairston is better than Siobhan Revel. They're pretty close, I guess. Yeah, Maxwell Hairston. I'm really infatuated with this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and draft him. You guys seem like you're with me. If Tyler Booker would have lasted to this next pick, I would have taken him there. I think Booker is a top 10 talent in this draft, but I've been really heavily focused on defense here. But honestly, what do you guys think of Caleb Johnson right here? He would fit a zone running scheme, right? Foster, you wanted Grant, so Billings will be rotating behind Grant. Okay, well, we missed out on that opportunity. What do you guys think of Caleb Johnson here? Foster agrees with me on Booker. Donovan Jackson is a good pick right here too. I think Tyler Booker is a much more talented player than him, but Donovan Jackson is a great consolation prize if I didn't get Booker, which I did not. To me, honestly, right here, I mean, I've gone pretty defense heavy. Already we have Jalon Walker, Tyleek Williams, and Maxwell Hairston. That is an interesting first three picks. Those trade backs really did some wonders here, and we got a shit ton of picks still to go. So this will be our last draft for sure because I got a lot going on here with this. Donovan Jackson, Caleb Johnson. Let's get a little offense here. Do we want our running back? Our next pick is a while down the road. So I feel like if we're going to get Caleb Johnson, we got to get him now. But Donovan Jackson is a damn good player. There's more depth at running back. Let's go Donovan Jackson. Ooh, Andrew Makuba is right there. I fucking love Andrew Makuba, guys. The guy, oh wow, all the running backs just went. Fuck me. All this depth I said at running back, and they're just gone. Shit. Last Donovan is zone, Booker is gap. Yeah, for sure. I think Makuba is the pick here too, Amphiorus. I love Makuba. He made that hit on the backup quarterback. I'm blanking on his name for Georgia that knocked his helmet straight off when he was running for the goal line. Had the interception against Arizona State in overtime. I mean, this guy is just a baller in big time situations. The running back is, I mean, my guys are gone, so I'm going to go ahead and pass on that for now. I think RJ Harvey could be a good pick here, and so could Giddens. And I like Martinez too and Jaden Blue. So maybe we can hit one of those. I think Makuba makes a ton of sense right here. So I'm with you. All right, now we're at pick 82. I fucking love Makuba, Dante. I am with you. Amphiorus, Makuba, we were all on the same page there. So right now we could go Damian Martinez. The rest of the running backs that were ahead of him are gone now too. So shit. Giddens is still there. Sean, my co-host, loves Devin Neal, but he's a little Kansas biased, just a little. Jaden Blue's still there. What do you guys think? Kyle Williams, Vernon Broughton, Joshua Farmer, Jordan Phillips. That's your nose tackle right there. That's interesting because you get your three tech in Tyleek, and you get your nose in Jordan Phillips. I know it's not Kenneth Grant, Foster, but he's a guy that can rotate with Billings. Yeah, we can probably get Neal later if we hold off. We got a shit ton of picks here. Williams or Martinez? Kyle Williams or Martinez? Guys, I really like the idea of Jordan Phillips right here. You've kind of just fixed your defensive line, right? You haven't gotten an edge. That's one glaring need, right? But I mean, Austin Booker. Let's see here. Elijah Roberts, David Walker. Yeah, I kind of fucked that up, man. I should have taken Michael Williams when I had the chance. But it is what it is. You live and learn. I'm gonna go with Jordan Phillips because I really like him at that nose tackle position, and I think he's a damn good athlete for his size. Tyleek is your nose tackle. I think he's your three technique. Oh no, we're having our first. We're butting heads again, Dante. Let's see here. 6'3", 327. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I've seen him play both, and he's done them both well. But wow, I really thought he was more of a three tech size. But yeah, no, you're right. Let's see here. A gap, 12 snaps. B gap, 403 snaps. Over tackle, 157. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Tyleek's your 3, so I don't need Jordan Phillips. Tyleek's your 1, I mean. I don't need Jordan Phillips. Thanks for that info, boss. What about Jared Wilson or Jonah Savanea? He's a top 30 visit for the Bears. They got him listed at tackle, but he's going to play guard. I mean, edge Sawyer. I haven't heard anything about Tyleek having an injury issue. Tracks. You got something on that I'm not aware of? You're saying I'm pretty sure Sawyer's gone. Foster brought up Sawyer. I know he's gone, man. There's nothing here. I mean, Elijah Roberts could be solid right here. Let's see. What do we think of Elijah Roberts? Let's check him out for a second. 13 games played this season, 8 sacks, 7 hits, 45 hurries, 372 pass rush snaps, 91.1 PFF grade, 91.3 last year, 6'4", 295. Strong, well-built defensive lineman who has a lot of experience at different alignments. He likely lacks the length, twitch, and bend to be a full-time edge player, but his size and versatility could play well as a 3-4 defensive end who could move along gaps. Interesting. His size is crazy. 6'4", 295. Yeah, that definitely screams 3-4. I don't know if there's anybody else worth drafting in that spot at the edge. All right. You guys want Damian Martinez? I saw Damian Martinez. Savanea as a right guard, right tackle is nice. All right, let's go with him. We're going to build the trenches. We're building the fucking trenches, guys. Trench warfare. So, Walker, Williams, Hairston, Donovan Jackson, Makuba, Savanea. All right. So at this point, we still need our running back. We got Jared Wilson sitting right there. Giddens, Wyatt Millum, Devin Neal's still there. Savion Williams, the wide receiver. That could be interesting. Tight end, you still got Harold Fannin, who's a sneaky pick here. What do you guys think? Savion Jones? I like Savion Jones a lot. Oh, what up, Trax? I appreciate you, boss. Yeah, no, I got you. I did not expect you to be up this late. I'll be honest. But thank you for joining us, man. Thank you for being here with me. Savion Jones, is he still there? No, I think he's gone, man. I did not see him. Oh, there he is. That's a hell of a reach right here, isn't it? I mean, I think we can wait on that. I think we can wait on that. We need the running back, guys. I think we need the running back. So let's do that. It's Martinez, Giddens, or Neal. What are you guys thinking? Yeah, I think it's too early for Savion Jones too, Dante. If we're choosing between these 3 running backs, Martinez, Giddens, or Neal, which one y'all going with? I really like Giddens. I like Martinez too. I'm good with either one of them, but I think we got to get our running back here. I think we've waited too long on that as it is. And Fiora says Martinez, first to answer wins. Here you go. We're getting Damian Martinez. And then we're right back here at 86. We still have 86, 89, 148 of consequential picks. So at this point, we've addressed Jalon Walker is going to be an edge rusher for us. And, they'll move all over the place. Tyleek Williams is our nose. Maxwell Hairston is going to be a starting cornerback on this team. Donovan Jackson will eventually be your starting guard. They got him listed at tackle, too. He will play guard. Andrew Makuba will be a starting safety in this league. And then we got another guard in Jonah Savanea. And then Damian Martinez. We got our running back to pair with DeAndre Swift. I think we're addressing some pretty solid needs here. Tyleek Williams known to be able to play multiple positions on the defensive line. He's been used as a nose tackle and under tackle and can also be effective in 1-2 gap schemes. Yeah, no, I've seen him play both. That's what I was saying. But I mean, his size does scream one to me, one technique. Uh, Martinez does complement Swift. Jared Ivey is gone. Yes, I believe. Let's see. It's a good question. Let's answer it right now. Search players. Isn't it? Let's see here. I'm going to spell his name right. Not even on here. I don't see him. I'm spelling it wrong. No, still nothing. Yeah, maybe you're spelling it wrong, Foster. Getting some bad information from Foster here because I'm searching the player by name the way you spelled it. I got shit. Yeah, but he's got to be gone. Let's see here. Yeah, he gone. He gone. Listen, we could go David Walker. I don't know. Let's see here. This guy is 6'2", 260, highly productive and decorated FCS player. Size limitation will make him a day 3 pick at best, but he mitigates it as best he can and is a high effort player who lives in backfield. Some team will likely take a flyer on him late as a stand-up pass rush specialist. That's not going to work for us. It's the Central Arkansas Bears. That's why I've never heard of this fucking guy because I've never heard of the Central Arkansas Bears. I really want a defensive end, guys. I think it's Savion Jones. And it feels like a reach, but at the same time, I think he is going to be a steal for someone where he's ranked. So I feel okay taking him. What about this guy? 6'3", 250. You are too small, brother. Ashton Gallat. 6'3", 275. Strong defensive end who wins with leverage and leg drive. Lack of length is an issue when engaging in pass rush moves, and more importantly, when getting off blocks. But his relentlessness and consistent physical play style will get coaches in his corner for roster spots and rotations for playing time. This guy had a pretty solid season. 12 games played, 5 sacks, 11 hits, 41 hurries. Yeah, I mean, and consistently put up good hurry numbers in college. I don't know, guys. I'm struggling here. What do you think? Jared Ivey. I typed it in, Foster. Let me show you this, brother. Jared Ivey. Nothing. Got your glasses on? I'm typing it in. It's not working. Jared. Yes, that's what I did. All right, I'm done on that. Kyle Williams is a hell of a steal here. You know what? Fuck it. Let's get our slot receiver. Took forever. I understand. And now we're at pick 89. I still want Jared Wilson would be a steal here, wouldn't he, guys? Harold Fannin. I don't know. What do you guys think? Think we go defense? Ferguson tight end. I like Fannin better. Ferguson already go, didn't he? Let's see here. Nope, he's still there. Let's check him out. I like Fannin better, I got to be honest. But he's 6'5", 255. Nice receiving tight end with the length to play some inline snaps. His lower run blocking impact marks indicate that an NFL team won't want to use him much in that way. His true value is as a receiver and a tight end, too. I don't like the sound of that, dude. If I'm taking a tight end, like, I want someone that I could feel I could eventually replace Cole Kmet. And I don't think Ferguson is that guy. You want Lathan Ransom? Now, we took Makuba. So I don't know that I'm going to take another safety here unless it's Malachi Moore. If he falls pretty far. I really want to get edge, guys. I think now might be the time. Jared Wilson, listen, we get our backup center and our future starting center. We're thinking current and we're thinking future as well. After this pick, we're going to 148. This is our last real consequential pick, this one at 148. So it's an important one. I think I might be able to get Savion Jones with that 148 pick. And if that's the case, I can get Jared Wilson right here. And the offensive line is pretty well set. Yeah, we took Makuba, Foster. We took Makuba in the 3rd round, and I think he's going to be a fucking stud. I like him better than Ransom, for sure. You guys good with Jared Wilson here? I think he'll be better than Shaheen. Tracks. I would hope. It's not hard to be better than Shaheen. That's a very low bar to have to cross. And Shaheen didn't have genius Ben Johnson. So let's kick Bates, Kramer, and Murray off the team. I'll keep Bill Murray. Can I keep Bill Murray, Dante? Please? I like Bill Murray. Let me keep him. Yeah, Makuba is awesome. I think that's the steal of the draft so far for us. We need a Ditka. No, we got enough Ditka in our lives. You need a Ditka in your mouth, Foster. Jalen Walker, Tyleek Williams, Maxwell Hairston, Donovan Jackson, Andrew Makuba, Jonas Avenea. So we got our backup guards, we got our safety, we got our cornerback, we got our tackle, we got our edge rusher and Jalon Walker. I mean, I guess I don't feel so bad about neglecting edge because Jalon Walker is going to be an edge rusher, at least situationally. Damian Martinez, our power running back, and Kyle Williams, our slot receiver. The amount of needs we've addressed here is insane, but what am I missing, guys? Is there a piece that I'm missing that we actually absolutely have to address? You think Johan can cover center? Okay, that's yours. Backup tight end, Detroit, few hundred yards, like 2 or 3 touchdowns, I think. Wright is his name. I thought it was White. I don't know. He's not very. Listen, I think the 2 tight end sets are going to be important in Ben Johnson's offense. I don't know how, if it's important enough that we need to take one right here. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm honestly blanking on his name. It's so late at night. I've been up all fucking day, guys. It's been a busy day. 10-hour to 11-hour day at work as well. So I appreciate y'all sticking with me. And hopefully y'all appreciate me sticking here with you. Yeah, I did grab a receiver. I got Kyle Williams, man, who I think is going to be a steal in this draft. Let me just show you guys this gentleman's stats this past season because they're pretty incredible. 13 games played, 70 receptions on 101 targets, 1,196 yards, 14 touchdowns. Season before, 842 yards, 6 touchdowns. He is 6 foot, 186. He is your slot receiver. Deep yards, 454. Screen yards, 232. Slot yards, 392. Slot catches, 23. But I think he fits into that slot role in this offense. So, yeah, I did get the receiver. What am I missing, guys? What do you want to go for here? Let me know. I'm interested. There's got to be something that I'm not addressing. Do you guys think it's the tight end that's the most important thing to address right here? I think we got our offensive line pretty well set, man. We didn't get a left tackle. I don't know that there's anything worth grabbing here, and I think Jonah Savanea could play left tackle in a pinch too. You ain't got me on the 55-inch screen, Foster. I just keep coming back to Jared Wilson. What about Cameron Williams? He's a right tackle, ain't he? True bet of a prospect. His penalty-riddled lone year as a starter shows inexperience and inconsistency, but has also showed starting caliber, length, and traits. He's not the kind of player you plug and play, but could be a gem to develop on day 2. Wow. He's built like an NFL offensive tackle, checking all the boxes for height, weight, and length. I mean, this guy could be your swing tackle. I mean, but he's another project. Do we want to do that with this pick? Trax wants a long snapper. Can always count on you for the comic relief, Trax. Anthony Belton, tackle out of North Carolina State. 6'6", 336. We're gonna find something unrefined here, no matter what, aren't we, guys? So I mean, do we want to address that tackle position? Do we want to address edge? Deion Walker. That's another nose tackle, but I really like Deion Walker. Jacob Parrish, interesting pick right here, but we already took the cornerback. We already got Isaiah. We got our slot receiver. We don't need Isaiah Bond. We got our safety, all the good guys. I mean, tight end. What about Marcus Mabo? Who is this guy? Trax. He's from your neck of the woods, Purdue. 6'5", 300 pounds. What do you know about this guy? Small and struggles with NFL level strength. Never mind. We're going away from that. I don't want that in my left tackle. I really don't. Oh, you guys. All right. Fuck it. We're going Jared Wilson. I can't really think of what else to do here. And this is taking too long. So I went Jared Wilson. I think that's a steal of a pick right there. So Logan Brown. I know a lot of people like Logan Brown. Trax, you like Logan Brown, don't you? Trax is saying Will Howard. I like Will Howard. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. Well, it's too late. I took Jared Wilson, guys. At this point, we're looking at Logan Brown, Jordan Hancock, Pat Bryant. I already took the receiver, though. Ty Robinson. I mean, is Savion Jones gone? If he isn't, I'll take him. That was my hope, is that he would be there, but he is gone. I needed to take him. I needed to reach if I was going to get him. Oh, man. You know what? If I'm going to take a flyer on an edge player, is this guy, I mean, is this guy crazy, guys? I like Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. Not a lot of production to speak of for this guy. Didn't play a lot in this Georgia rotation, but he tested off the charts at the combine. He's got crazy physical upside. What do you guys think of Tyrion Ingram Dawkins here to get my edge rusher? Okay, Amphiorus wants the Notre Dame tight end. Dante says Brashard Smith. Okay, we can get our gadget guy here. No thoughts on Tyrion Ingram Dawkins? Okay. He's the guy I would take a chance on here if I was picking that. Logan Brown. I mean, this guy could be a potential project at left tackle. They don't know much about him over at PFF. They has his evaluation's coming soon. Brashard Smith. That's who Dante wants. Amphiorus wants the Notre Dame tight end. You can always count on a Notre Dame tight end to be average in the NFL. Foster said a Johnny Cornelius. You seem to like him. 6'5", 315. Big body, powerful blocker with some foot quickness. And now he played right tackle, right? Because Connerly is their left tackle. So we're looking at a swing tackle here. 0-star offensive guard recruits. Wow. Interesting. Nasir Stackhouse. Bears have spent more time on 6, 7 rounders and undrafted free agents than on guys in the first 5 rounds. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that makes some kind of sense because they're going to have to live in there a little bit. Guys, I can get Malachi Moore right here, and I might just do it because I love him so much. I know I already took a safety, but I don't know. All right. You guys have put your votes in for Mitchell Evans and Brashard Smith, and I don't even see Brashard Smith on here. Let's see. Yeah, he gone. Raheem Sanders is still there. Let's see here. If I'm going off of the tackle, you know what? I might go Emory Jones if I was going to go off of the tackle here. Oh, but they're saying move him in the guard. I don't know. There's no sure thing here. That's for sure. Is there a diamond in the rough edge player that I can snatch up here? Ja Joyner. That's interesting. First attended Ensworth School in Nashville, Tennessee. Lacks strength and violence. I'm not a fan of that. Tyler Barron. You know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going Tyrion Ingram Dawkins because I like his upside. I like his size. I like the potential. I mean, I might as well take a flyer here on an edge. Moore is really good. Trax likes Jones. Dante likes Howland Pierce. You said that name multiple times now, and I am not as familiar with it as Howland Pierce. Ranked 248. Okay. I'm picking at 148. So that's 100 spots difference. We can reassess at 233 or 240 if we're gonna go with Howland Pierce. Trax really likes Emory Jones. Charles Grant is another one Dante threw out. Let's check him out. I mean, he has to be unavailable because he's not popping up. I just really like the idea of taking Malachi Moore right here. His average draft position is 229, but I don't think he's going to be there in the 7th. My best available is Dylan Gabriel. God, this is ass. Ja Joyner today gives me Michael Haynes vibes. Okay. What do you think? Let's do Ja Joyner. I like his name stood out to me. I don't know anything about him. I'll be honest. Let's look at him. Out of Minnesota. Interesting. He is 6'5", 265. This past season, played 12 games, 3 sacks, 6 hits, 22 hurries. Hopefully he's playing like a limited snap basis. And they don't have any information on this guy. Ja Joyner could be interesting. Josiah Stewart. Let's see. No, he is not. He is no longer available. I'm really slacking on this pick, guys. I got to get this done so I can get to bed. But this is important to me. And you guys are here giving me your time. So I want to get this pick right. Defensive end. Amfiora says defensive end. I mean, if that's the case, we're probably going to go Ja Joyner or we're going to go. Listen, man. Okay. I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. It's a reach, but I like his athletic upside. I'll take a shot on that in the 5th round. Fuck it. Hopefully you guys aren't mad at me. Oh, Ja Joyner is ass. Okay, sorry, I didn't catch it. Again, it's late, and I've been up all damn day. All right, so we went Jelon Walker, Tyleik Williams, Hairston, Jackson, Makuba, Jonas Avenea, Damian Martinez, Kyle Williams, Jared Wilson, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. This journey started a while ago. I did a lot of trade backs. What do you guys think of Raheem Sanders here? Because, I mean, I like his upside, and he's a power back. Now, we got Damian Martinez already. Dante says Tyrion Ingram Dawkins was a good reach. And I like that he's named after Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if he is or not, but he has to be, right? Malachi Moore is gone, or I would take him. He is no longer here. Luke Lachey. I'm going to do this one for Foster. We're going Luke Lachey. Foster, that was for you. All right. And this is our last pick of this draft. Jamin Dumas Johnson, the linebacker. I have no idea who this guy is, and probably for good reason. Neither does PFF. They don't know anything about him. This is the last pick of the draft. I passed on Raheem Sanders, and now he is gone. Howland Pierce. There you go. I'm going to go with him. I told you we would reassess at 240, and here he is. That was you, Dante, calling for Howland Pierce. I'm not going Irv Mulligan. I'm going to go with Howland Pierce. We are cooking in this mock, Dante. You are 100% correct. This is going to break the simulator. It's going to be so good. We're going Howland Pierce with our last pick. That was for you, Dante. Earned 2 new awards. Let's see what our grade is here. They think we should have taken James Pierce over Jelon Walker, probably because of the edge versus the linebacker. We did a lot of trades to start this draft. We moved back a few times. But Jelon Walker got us a B minus, guys. Tyleek got us an A. Maxwell Harrison got us a C plus. Interesting. Donovan Jackson B minus. Makuba got us an A minus. Jonas Avenea got us a C. Damian Martinez B plus. Kyle Williams C minus. I guess they thought it was a reach. Jared Wilson C plus. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins got us a D. Dante said it was a good reach though, so I feel good. Foster, your guy got us a B minus. Luke Lachey, Holland Pierce, Dante, that was your pick. C plus. Top 43% of Chicago Bears drafts. I'm kind of disappointed in this grade, but PFF can kiss my ass. B plus overall draft grade. We ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 picks in this draft with all the trade backs. What do you guys think? Emory Jones visited the Steelers today. If they pull the trigger, that's 4 O-line stars and 24. His pro comp is Dante Smith. I mean, Emory Jones is a project. I don't want another project tackle in the middle rounds. If I'm going to go tackle, I want to go higher and get the starter. Trax likes Lachey. Guys, I mean, the draft got us a B plus. I think we got it. I think we got a lot of good depth for this team, and we got some starters. I'm a fan of this draft. I think if Poles and the Bears were able to pull something off like this, I'd be very excited, man. Listen, guys, it's been a hell of a time. I appreciate B plus gets us a scholarship. Yes, sir. Foster says grades mean nothing. I got all A's and dropped out of 16 schools. Boring. For sure, yeah. And like I said, to start the show, we don't do homework here. We just like to have fun. This was a fun mock. This has been a fun show, guys. I appreciate everybody for being here. Please make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here if you have not already. Amphioris, Dante, you guys have been studs. Foster, as always. Shorty was in here with us earlier. You guys are fucking awesome, man. Trax, thank you for being here, dude. Trax, check them out on CSP, Chicago Sports Podcast. You can find me over there as well. We'll be back on Saturday with the Northside 9. That's Sean and Kyle for 4 stars. I'm just trying to see it. Breaking News Bruce, I remember, was in here, but this has been such a long chat. It's hard to go back and see everybody. But just thank you to everybody for being here. Northside 9 on Saturday. We'll be back on Monday for the House Hall Hangover. You can catch me on Monday on CSP. Check out all the Chicago Sports Podcast stuff. Thank you, Dante. You have a great night as well. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you. It's been a blast. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Go Bears. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how all this plays out. Nope. Yep. All the love tracks. We're going to see how this draft plays out, man. Don't forget on the 24th, draft day, 4 stars are going to be at River Street in East Dundee for a live draft party. If you guys are around and available, come say hi, man. Let's have a drink. Let's have a good time. Draft is going to be a lot of fun. No idea which way the Bears are going to go. That's why these mocks are so much fun. But yeah, you guys take care. Have a good night. Bear down. This has been the bare minimum. Thanks to my co-host Brandon for being here, and thanks to all of y'all for sticking around through my ridiculous mock draft. Hey, take care. We're going to see y'all soon. Peace out.